Oh my god, here we are.
Hello.
Number something. I forgot.
Number 12. Number 12. Welcome to Metal's Forge.
12's a good
Metal,
number.
Metal and
Wow.
Mark's Eminem's Forge number 12.
Might actually
Today
be
we're-
kind of accurate. 12-ish.
Is it? I
12,
actually
14?
don't know.
I would need to check.
78. Welcome to Metal's Forge 1942. Today, I read this. This is interesting. I read this in an article. It said here. This is on a Screen Rant article. Despite its positive reception, though, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare made less than $10 billion at the box office during the
Yep.
weekend of April 19th, 2024.
Well, I mean,
It
So
costs
I can't-
60 million. It costs 60
I can't-
million. Yeah.
I can't blame them because they made less than $10 billion.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's that's
high
all right, but
expectations.
That's,
Damn.
can't blame them for that.
I mean, maybe
It's
they
like
should have.
Square.
They should have maybe used
Square
Zack
Enix.
Snyder math or something.
That's right.
Then
You
would've
can't
been-
fail with Zack Snyder math. With Zack Snyder math, you can never go wrong.
No, he's like, oh, it's Rebel Moon Part 1. That was more successful than Barbie, or as successful, or whatever it was.
Or I'd much rather watch Rebel Boat than Rebel Moon.
Oh god, Rebel Moon was so. Oh god, we talked about it
Rebel
on
Moon.
EFAP. Go watch that.
I luckily
Yeah,
avoided.
I watched the episode
Yeah.
talking about Rebel Moon Part 2 because I was out of town and I couldn't make it. But thank God, because boy, I dodged a bullet. I watched the EFAP, and it was a really good EFAP. Actually, I know I'm biased; it is my show, but I thought it was actually a really good EFAP talking about the movie. It was
Yeah,
very
it's fun.
entertaining to hear about the crazy shit in that. That I didn't know anything about Rebel Moon because no one knows anything about Rebel Moon because
No.
people aren't watching it or talking about it. So learning about all the absurd nonsense that happens in that movie,
It's funny when people
pretty great.
talked about the first Rebel Moon. Oh, sorry, Rebel Moon, as we called it. And it's like, oh yeah, that did happen, huh? Anyway, moving on.
Did. And it didn't happen that long ago.
It really wasn't. At least I
But
had an
something that did happen a while ago
Mhm.
was old
World War II.
WW2. Metal,
I
what
knew
are your
that's where you were
opinions?
going with
Metal,
that.
what are your opinions on World War II?
I think we made a couple of tactical errors there. I
The
think we-
Autobahn, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Volkswagen.
not so many fronts at the same time. I think that was a bad move.
Hitler was right to tell them to, we got to push to Kiev, guys. We really do. like we can get Moscow later. We need the fuel. Quite frankly.
maybe should have packed some gloves or something. Maybe some coats. That would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
Or
Would have
been
been
less
great.
cool actually.
Would have been warm.
Yeah,
would've
you know
been
what?
spicy.
We could have done better. But you know what? Maybe next time. We'll see.
You know what else?
It's
could've been
always the
better?
next sequel.
That's always the next sequel.
That's right. Well, hey, Metal, in World War III, we'll be on the same side, so
Oh, sick.
you'll get to know what it's like to be a winner.
Oh, that rarely happens.
Oh,
Well, I mean, I guess Metal know there's a reason why I'm really happy that I'm in a military that's closely allied with the Americans. I like the fact that Americans are probably not going to be shooting at me anytime soon. I've met their Marines.
Yeah.
yeah, they're great. They're great. Good guy.
I witnessed a modern day miracle today, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
All
The-
the miracles you witnessed are going to be modern day miracles, right?
Yeah, sure. I went on the old Amazon because the Stellar Blade is coming out soon. I was like, I want a physical copy of that game. And the physical copy was cheaper than the digital copy on the PlayStation
seriously?
Store. Yeah,
That's strange.
it's like 10 euros cheaper. I was like, wow, that's insane.
I have no idea how that could be the case. Maybe they made a deal where they would sell it for like a flat amount, regardless.
Yeah,
maybe it's like
maybe.
a country thing, an exchange thing, or
Maybe like maybe it was like a pre-order thingy as well. I don't know.
maybe the factory is next door to
Oh.
you. Maybe you live right next door to the factory,
Oh,
and you can just walk over there and pick it up. And they're like,
Oh.
"What are you here for?" And it's like, "I'm here for my
that
my
would be
my
neat.
Stellar Blade game." And like, "Oh yeah. People have been coming in. Yeah."
I got the digital version, but it cost me $93.49 Canadian, which is the MSRP for PlayStation 5 games these days, which is wild.
Dang.
But kind of can blame my money for it, but also rising game prices for effectively no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I
always
don't
say
know the
that-
last time I paid, like, I don't think I have ever paid $70 for a game. I think the last, like, new AAA game that I bought was Dead Space, the remake. I don't know if, I guess whichever came out first, the Resident Evil 4 remake or Dead Space remake.
It was Dead
but
Space first, but yeah,
I
I
guess
think
it's technically Resident Evil 4 remake.
I think it was it was 89 for us. So it was before they gave us that extra $3.49 hike. But yeah. I honestly think though the big problem with video game economics is just bloated budgets and paying a bunch of people to not do anything important.
I think it
If you
almost
narrow
certainly is
down the
bloated
budgets,
yeah. It's
narrow
the
down the budgets,
massive,
we'll get better games.
the big scale coupled with the massive studios, coupled with how like the graphical expectations for a lot of people drives the prices of these things up, it's super duper high.
Well,
And
because
it doesn't it doesn't mean a better game. It just flat out does not mean a better game.
and it's where we're really running into an issue with the old kind of console gamer mentality of games need to keep looking better and better and better, because there's the years where a company's getting good with the console hardware and making things look nicer on it. Then we get new hardware, and at every step of the way, people are expecting things to look better and better and better. But now there's like the consoles are basically PCs and pretty low power PCs. So ultimately games are only going to look so good before they start having to take just massive hits to performance, which luckily Stellar Blade does not seem to be a victim of. The demo of it runs quite well, even though I really wish they just released it on PC day one.
Oh, of course.
I would just prefer to play it on my PC because I can run it nicer looking, and it's my choice because I have control of the settings. Though they do give you 3 options in Stellar Blade for PS5. You got a quality mode, a performance, and an ultra performance or something, or balanced in performance.
Speaking of World War II, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, is a film that I watched. I don't know if you guys did, but I did.
We did.
Did watch it. Oh boy, did I watch it?
I watched it, and it is odd in that I think it only got a limited theatrical release in the US. Not even a full release, but it got a limited theatrical release in the United States, and I think everywhere else it went to streaming.
Well,
although I guess if this is a future episode, if it's out if it's out on streaming by Sunday, then yes it did.
Yeah.
But as of now,
is it not out on streaming yet? Or
yeah, it's just question mark of when it's going to be out anywhere in the rest of the world. I've seen stories that said it was supposed to come out on Prime Video on the 19th, which is the same day it released in the US. I saw another story saying it was the 24th, which is today, and still no sign of it on my Amazon Prime. And I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's this movie seems like it has a very borked launch.
Yeah, so for that reason, we all flew over to the Americas to watch it. So
Yeah.
That's right. It was worth the ticket, I hope.
Debatable, but yeah.
I thought it was kind of enjoyable at times, but sort of unremarkable, I guess is my kind of like
so the
thoughts on it.
thing is, I just watched a Guy Ritchie thing with The Gentleman, and that was really good. So
The Gentleman?
yeah.
Okay.
The Netflix show.
Yeah, the show there is a movie as well.
Movie, yeah.
And it's nebulous as to whether or not they take place in the same timeline or if it's just kind of a retelling of the same story with different characters. But the show's brilliant. Like it's probably Guy Ritchie's best work because effectively it takes his personal style of storytelling that he did in things like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, where it's a bunch of quirky characters who are in an insane plot with a bunch of moving parts and it all kind of comes together at the end. It's that, but with the amount of time to really develop the wacky characters. So it was really, really very good. And this movie is... It kind of... like, if I had a thought on this, it seems like when Planet Terror and Death Proof came out, if Guy Ritchie made a movie for like the Grindhouse Project, this might be his. It kind of seems like an action movie made in the 70s about World War II guys.
I don't know. I think that this is... I don't know about the 70s part. The movie... I thought the movie was fine. I was engaged with it decently well. I think there's a good amount of things to praise here, but I think the weaknesses of the movie is that it doesn't quite reach it doesn't get there. It's moving there, but it doesn't get there, you know?
Mhm.
I think I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was never, I mean, it's kind of a meme, but I was never bored while watching it. I was pretty well engaged, and I knew who the characters were and what they were doing. I had a good idea of what the plan was, what everyone's roles in that plan were. I could follow along with who people were. I was never squinting my eyes at the screen wondering what the fuck is going on. It had good acting throughout. It had, I feel like, pretty decent pacing. That sort of balanced out the more actiony sequences with the more espionage sequences. So I felt like it had a good balance in that regard. But and the action, it was just fine. You know, it's a fine movie. It's a fine movie. I enjoyed it. This would be a fun movie to. It is. I mean, it is because I did. It's a fun movie to watch at theaters and have your little popcorn there and just eat your popcorn and chew it in your mouth and be like, oh, look at him go, look at him go. And every once in a while, be like, oh, that's actually kind of like a tense little scene. That's nice, and it's get to kind of throw that in there too. So you know, I'm pretty positive towards it, but I just don't think it ever. Like, it doesn't elevate itself to being something memorable or like people aren't going to look back and be like, yeah, this was the World War II movie to, oh boy, that was the one. It's just one of those like, yeah, it's a nice, fun little movie to watch.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. It is entertaining and the action is quite well shot. I don't think it has the amount of style that you'd really associate with Guy Ritchie. It seems like he did it in a more vanilla is not the word for it, but a more standard filmmaking way as opposed to doing all sorts of weird editing tricks and stuff. But it functions pretty well as just like a decent action movie where you've got sort of a good guy femme fatale character doing, as Rags was saying, kind of the espionage storyline, while the big men shooting Nazis storylines also kind of happening at the same time. But it's one mission that has the two aspects. And
well, to sort of get everyone caught up on what exactly this movie is. This movie is about Operation Postmaster,
yes.
Postmaster, which was in 1942, before the United States gets involved in the war, and things are looking kind of grim in Europe. There is a bunch of German U-boats are wreaking havoc with supply lines and things of that nature in the Atlantic Ocean. And Operation Postmaster was an undercover espionage mission that tasked a small group of British and militiamen, essentially, with destroying the supplies for the U-boats so that the U-boats couldn't operate in the Atlantic, which would allow Britain to get all of its shipments of, food and equipment and supplies and things like that. So that's like that's the basic plot. It sort of follows. There's sort of like three plot lines in this, but it's not at all confusing. You have your plot line with our 5 hero guys. You have our side espionage plot line with our 2 undercover agents, our femme fatale and our suave businessman. And then you have our third plot line, which is like the political, Churchill and Ian Fleming and all the
chain of command.
Chain of command kind of stuff. But the plot lines intertwine fairly well. You get a decent amount of variety because each one of those plot lines feels very different. When all the boys are running around with their Stens and Brens and whatnot, and they're shooting at guys and they're shooting Nazis and they're doing the little covert operations, it feels very different from when our espionage pair is trying to distract all the Nazi soldiers with parties, or they're trying to plant bombs secretly, and like recover German intelligence. And that feels way different than, the little bit of the political situation to be like, Churchill, we want to appease Hitler. Why don't you want to appease Hitler? And Churchill's like, fuck Hitler, he's an asshole. And everyone's like, oh, Churchill, you can't say that on Twitter. And then he has to secretly have his thing carry out and his mission get carried out without anyone discovering it.
He hires a team of Giga Chats. and then takes over Twitter by sinking
Yeah.
the U-boat
So
supplier.
the movie's basically about Operation Postmaster,
Yeah.
and this movie, in terms of its tone, it's pretty lighthearted.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
laugh, but it was like, but I was like, okay, no, this is a fun movie. We're having fun. There's
some banter in here where it's like, oh, that was kind of fun. I enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That
they
was
banter
alright.
pretty well. Everyone kind of acts well. The dialogue is pretty neat. The movie doesn't think you're stupid, which is very nice. It has this kind of jovial, fun, we're fighting the Nazis kind of tone.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an Inglorious Bastards.
No.
This is not an Anthropoid. This is not one of those kinds
Oh,
of
God.
movies.
That's a
This
good
is
movie.
definitely just go to the theater, eat your popcorn, shoot a bunch of Nazis. We're not gonna get into any discussions about Wehrmacht conscripts and
No.
the morality of war and people. No. We're shooting Nazis in this movie. We're having a great
Yeah.
time,
Mhm.
and we kind of are in a sense. If the vibe was very easy to pick up on from
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
Yeah, I guess I can just jump into it because we start on a little boatster, and immediately have like Gus and what's the other guy's name? The Danish hammer, Anders Larsen.
Lawson.
Yeah.
Lawson.
And they're just hanging out. Looks like having a little picnic up there. It's like, oh, what's going on over here? But oh no, the Germans are coming. Uh-oh. And they're like, we're gonna look at your stuff. And it's like, no, it's nothing interesting here. It's all whatever. And they just kind of dig around, and they're laughing at him. Basically, it's like, like they're pretending like they're drunk because they show like a little shot of a wine glass. And
Yeah, there's the opening scene's kind of like establishing who the characters are, their attitudes, how effective they can be, and it is establishing that the Nazis in this movie, they are the bad guys.
oh yeah, that's
They
very
are the
clear.
bad guys.
Because
the
the-
Nazis are the bad guys.
Because the commander of the or I don't know, of the lead of the party, I guess, not of the ship necessarily. For some reason, he has a ritual when somebody laughs at him, they just burn the boat down with kerosene, and then he wants to see if they jump in the water and try to get to shore, or like to burn alive in the fire. It's like, oh, okay.
Now, like I think, like who's not jumping over, right? Like fire,
Yeah.
burning hurts a lot, man.
Like,
Yeah,
burning
you might
sucks.
find some. Oh yeah, like I'd stay on the ship as long as I could, but you think you'd find some flotation device.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's basically the Nazis like, oh, you laughed at me because our two heroes, they're like, ha ha, we're having so much fun. We sure don't like you, but we're joking around and we don't take this too seriously because we're putting up this. I guess it's not even putting up an attitude. They just have this
Yeah.
they have this fun. It's cheeky. This is a cheeky movie full of cheeky characters.
Yeah, because
but-
because Gus has even like no, not Gus, the Larsen guy. He's like, he doesn't even like Germans. He says he hates the Nazis. Ha 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 ha. Like,
I'll pay you 100 francs if you shoot him.
if you shoot him in the
Ha, ha, ha.
face. Yeah. This is like, oh, okay.
That is kind of an interesting way to present cover, like to act like you're not even really bothered by them being there at all. Which,
Yeah, it's just drunk.
yeah, like it might actually be kind of convincing if you're trying to make the argument that you're German fishermen and that they have no real reason to be bothering you.
Yeah. Also, you don't have to really worry about our heroes throughout the whole movie. Like, they're in control all the time. Just-
There's there's a pretty clear, feels like a very clear compartmentalization between the action shooty stuff and the tense espionage stuff. When we have our lady spy and our suave spy guy, when they're doing stuff, those are the tense scenes of the movie where she's trying to get in with the Nazi officer, when he's trying to set up some contacts and things, when he is talking about, when she's trying to maintain her cover story. They're decently tense without being like, oh my god, so but you don't get those with the action scenes with the boys.
No.
When you're with the
Yeah.
boys, we're having fun shooting, and it's like jovial and it's funny,
Yeah.
and it's just like a lighthearted, semi-violent action movie. But
They kind
but-
of seem
it's good.
like they're like a bunch of max level characters who know that they're in a low level zone. Like,
yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. This isn't a As far as the action scenes are shot in general in this movie, they're okay and they're entertaining. I don't think they're great, but
No,
they're entertaining.
they're pretty entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
They take a level of care that makes you sort of believe that they can do this as lightheartedly as they can, but I think the moment you start to really think about it, there is an element of, because they'll do all this stuff like, oh, we'll shoot the guys on the watchtowers with our arrows because we got a guy who can shoot arrows. Okay, that's quiet. And we'll shoot these guys with our Sten guns and we got our big suppressors on them, so it's nice and quiet. And we'll shoot these guys over here and we're gonna be quiet. And I'm gonna stab this guy. Like they do the thing to convince you that they're doing it stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
How the logistics of how that stealth actually might work is very pretty shaky.
Oh yeah.
Well, because the suppressors on the Sten guns, I think, were the first thing that was jumping out at me is like, okay, like they're doing the thing where suppressors are just
Movie
they
suppressors.
totally movie suppressors. But what I liked about the way they did it in that scene was they kept on cutting to the engine on the truck that was outside and having that sound enter the mix, which kind of gives you the impressions that maybe the people that were in that classroom actually weren't hearing anything over the sound of the truck.
I think they did a decent job. I can believe that like a 9mm submachine gun with a big old suppressor on it can be quiet. Because I don't think that when they were shooting people, it's not like people who were really there weren't any like Germans around them when they were shooting who should have heard it or noticed it. Typically they would shoot someone at somewhat of a distance, or they would kill everyone within a little group, or they would they'd find a couple and kill those couples of Nazis, and then they'd move on to the next, person walking around or standing here. It wasn't like you'd see someone and they showed plenty of scenes where a German would react to another German getting shot, but then they would shoot that guy before he could do anything or make any noise. They'd stab someone and hold their mouth. They would, cause a little distraction or take everyone out at once. So it was like it never broke your immersion in it, I don't feel. And I think for a movie like this, even though it probably wouldn't really hold up, there is an element of they did a decent job at it.
Did
for,
more,
I guess,
did more work than most other movies these days to make it kind of believable.
I think so. Yeah, they made it believable. They took some effort to make it believable. They wanted to have you believe that they could do this, but they also wanted to really kind of maybe not dip their toe, maybe wade through the element of we are having fun, and these are basically like superhero guys fighting Nazis, and they don't give a fuck, and they're gonna make jokes, and they're gonna wisecrack, and they have this old British humor and everything, and we're gonna have some cheeky fun.
Yeah.
I like that for the most part, they didn't get ultra fancy with the kills outside of Lawson, like Alan Ritchson's character. It seemed like they were very focused on just killing the people as opposed to like going out of their way to make it look cool. And they established that like Alan Ritchson's character is kind of insane. Like he's a hunter and he likes like carving out the hearts of his enemies and using a bow and arrow and axes and things. And I like that they didn't all have a personality like that. That it seemed like Henry Cavill, actually, I thought his action performances within this were pretty muted. I don't think he really even throws a punch. He stabs a couple people.
He stabs a few people, but really it's Lawson who gets in all the big fights with people, and he's the big guy. So you can believe that he will beat the shit out of any human being. But everyone else, they use their guns. They sneak up on people. They're looking around. They're shooting that guy over there, that guy over here. They're being quiet. And they're kind of wisecracking a bit and having fun as they do. But that might be a good way to sort of segue into sort of the performances, I suppose. I think everyone did a good job.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was no one in this movie who stood out as the bad actor.
No.
One thing I was thinking, though, is that the actor who plays Winston Churchill, I don't know if people would like that or not. I liked it. But I don't know if some people would feel that it felt weird. But he was kind of like a weird guy in the way that he talked and his mannerisms. But
yeah, I mean, I
Henry
thought it was
Cavill,
fine.
I suppose. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill. Cavill? Is it Cavill or Cavill?
I think
it's Cavill.
Cavill.
Yeah,
he did a good job. Everyone did a good job.
It's very charming.
Not just in the action scenes where they're going around shooting and fighting and punching, but in just the dialogue, the banter back and forth, having. Is he American doing a British accent, or is he just British?
Cavill's British.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Alan Richardson. I know that. I'm pretty sure he's American.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know because he's done
Yeah.
both. Yeah, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, no, Cavill's definitely a British guy.
Oh, interesting. I would have bet
explains
money
his
that he's
convincing
American.
accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone, yeah, there's a lot of good chemistry. We don't actually get a lot of character stuff in this movie at all. I think the most character stuff we get is I don't even know really. Probably.
Oh, you.
I don't even know. It's not. This isn't like a character driven.
Oh no.
In terms of their backstories and motivations and what they care about. No, this is a bunch of guys, and they have somewhat different personalities that you sort of pick on or pick up on. But it's not like a deep,
No, it's nothing. It's nothing deep here. This is a popcorn movie, pretty much.
Yeah,
this really is one of those popcorn movies.
Are we going to go through the movie like sequentially in terms of events that happen?
Yeah,
or is it just gonna be like an open freeform? All right.
Yeah, I mean, I could just go through my notes and then we can jump wherever we get led, and then just go back. It'll all be fun and good times.
I guess actually before we go forward, this movie, it's very convincingly a 1942 movie. They do a good job at making this feel like it is an accurate, or at least certainly immersive representation of World War II in terms of the places that they go, because it takes place essentially either in some British offices, or the vast majority of it takes place either on a boat or on West African coast. So there's a lot of good immersion in what people wear, the accents that people have, the makeup of the people who are there, the different uniforms. So like the Germans have like multiple different. They have their dress uniforms. They have their naval uniforms. They have their normal like brown fatigue sort of outfits for being Africa. You had your obviously your the locals who live there. Or, they're dressed a bit differently. And one thing I really like too is fairly early on, there's a train sequence, little train sequence where we have our first little espionage scene and our little spy sequence, and the waiter is speaking. His primary language is French.
Yeah.
And even though he's a black guy, but he speaks French because of the French colonies and the French language there, especially at the time and even till today. So when he spoke English, he'd have like a strange accent, I guess, to us, but when he spoke French, it felt a lot more well-practiced and natural. So these little things, there's like a good attention to detail that you might be curious. If you don't know anything about history, you're like this is weird. Why would they be doing this, wearing this, speaking that way, having this accent? But it kind of lines up, I think, with what the case would be, and I appreciate all these little touches.
Yeah, it's always nice, for sure. And yeah, pretty much agree.
Language is also kind of used as a like critical moment for one of the side plots too, and like the idea of people speaking outside of their first language,
right?
And how it can become challenging sometimes.
Yeah,
I guess more on that later.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's you can tell it's like the times, and I don't think we have anything to add. It was I 100% agree. But yeah, the Nazi soldiers are about to burn down the boat, but they also find a little hidden compartment in the lower decks of the boat. There's probably like a boat term for that, but I don't know it.
They have like a little hidden room in the boat. The Nazis they're tearing up everything. They're going through stuff. They're looking for contraband or smuggled items or weapons or all kinds of stuff. The Nazis are below deck, and they're looking. And they find a hidden room. Yeah,
they start pushing against the wall, and when it opens up, they get shot to bits by one of our guys. And this is where we establish
the Irishman.
Yeah, the Irishman, exactly. And now we just start shooting all the Nazis on the boat. And they make quick work of them, pretty much, because they have their guns with the stuff.
They play well with this. It's pretty believable. There's a few times where you're like, I feel like the Lawson guy who's trying to get in close. I feel like maybe some of these, but for everyone else, it's definitely like we have the element of surprise. We start shooting them. We take them when they're not expecting it, and so you're like, okay, I can believe this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not awful. It's definitely not awful. It's not
fun.
completely unbelievable, as in other movies and shows or
There's
whatever.
many other movies. This is,
Yeah.
I will say, the action in this is, it's definitely better than like John Wick 2,
Oh,
3,
yeah.
4.
It's funny because every time I see a silencer now in the movie, I always think back to the John Wick's
The
train
subway
subway
thing. Oh
scene.
my god,
Ugh,
that's stupid.
I shudder every
yeah.
time I think about it.
Do you think the action in this? No, it's not. I was about to ask if this was better than the action in Extraction, and I'm like, no, it's
No,
not
no.
as good as.
Oh,
the
I still haven't
Extraction
seen
stuff.
Extraction 2.
Do it.
Do it. It's
X-Ray
also
Girl. I kept on
it's
asking
quite
X-Ray Girl to
good.
watch it, and she'd be like, "Oh, let's watch it tomorrow." So then it's been like a year.
Why don't you be the man of the house and tell her, listen, we're watching Extraction 2 tonight. And
Well,
like, "Oh, my
because
parents are
I
coming over, and you're like, fuck your parents. We're watching Extraction
I used
2
to
right
be able
now."
to do that, but then I've been married to her long enough that I've now realized that she has a thing when it comes to movies. That if she's not totally up for watching it or is not awake enough, she will
Watch
be
by
out
yourself.
within like 20 minutes. Yeah, that's
When
what
you
I'm gonna
watch
do.
it. Yeah. Extraction 2 is good. It's good rat.
Yeah, I like the
That's a
first
really
one a lot.
Yeah, it's got really impressive stuff in it.
Probably
This
the
one's a lot
best
more-
thing Hemsworth's done, honestly. Like maybe outside of a couple of the Marvel movies, like the earlier ones.
Yeah, no, Extraction.
Like, I can't think of
pretty good.
anything outside of like Infinity War that I like Chris Hemsworth in that wasn't Extraction. What else is he in? Like, he's in a lot of shit, isn't he? But he's always in bad movies.
Yeah, kinda.
It's a bit of a tangent. Sorry about that, but
Oh no, a tangent in one of our podcasts.
Extraction was
Amazing.
good, the first one, and I will watch the second one.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. This is good. Is good.
So
So yeah, they shoot them all down. But there's obviously another bigger ship where the little boat came from.
yeah, it's like a little Nazi destroyer boat.
Yeah, it's like a
little Nazi patrol boat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're
Cannons
looking
on
over it, and it starts shooting. You can tell the tone now from the movie by now because he takes the corpse of the commander guy and just waves at them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello,
You can see
okay.
just how not afraid they are when they pull that move.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
one of the
he's like
guns just goes towards them, like turns to them and shoots, and they
Yeah.
miss. Because at
Or
this,
the
Yeah, it's
cannons on the
realistic.
deck swivels and turns.
yeah, it's
And it misses, and they're like, "Oh no, we better do something because they're gonna get the range on us pretty
They'll
soon."
find
and
our
blow
range
us to
eventually,
bits."
lads.
yeah. And they shoot again, nothing happens. But before they can shoot a third time, I think the thing just goes up in flames. It just explodes because the fourth guy planted some explosions, and that destroyed the whole thing. Listen, I don't
Yeah.
know how many
Admit it now,
explosions you
Freddy.
would actually need for that, but I already accepted at this point. Oh, we're doing this kind of movie.
But yeah, they've got a fourth guy in their company, and he has swum out with his little gear, and he has planted mines and explosives on the side of the destroyer, and then it blows it up. And he's like, "Oh, hi everyone, I'm back from doing my thing.
And you're like, yay.
What's going on? What are we up to?"
Yeah, because I asked, what is actually the plan? Why are we here? And then we have a little flashback to, I don't know, 20-something
15
days before.
24 days later, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Shortly before.
Because we need to know what is the dealio? What's been going on? Or you already said, Rags. So basically, the Germans have been using a lot of U-boats to stop England from getting any kinds of resources, including like food and stuff. And they don't really have anything effective to fight against them at this time and day.
By the way,
Yes.
I'd highly recommend. Lindy Beige did a really excellent video talking about the war in the Atlantic and U-boats in particular, and how the Allies were just getting thrashed by U-boats earlier in the war, and they were incredibly effective. But
Yeah.
as time went on, they developed countermeasures to U-boats that basically completely flipped it to where being in a U-boat later towards the war
Super
was basically
dangerous.
suicide.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as what happened to the Luftwaffe as well. Whereas time went on, things just sort of totally flipped once once the Allies started developing techniques and strategies and equipment and stuff to deal with U-boats. So very, very good video. I'd recommend it. Super interesting.
That's great. Yeah,
So in
sounds
this, it
pretty good.
Yeah.
When you
Dude,
did.
wartime-
Let's
just
find it and put
wartime-
the link in the description.
Wartime research and technology developing is just always off the charts. Like
Oh yeah,
the
World
shit
War
they
One
do
and World
at
War
this
Two.
time, man.
The differences between the beginning and the ends of the war.
It's
Very
insane.
interesting.
I remember around the time Battlefield 1 came out, I got glued to a channel that I believe is just called The Great War. And it's just like every single day you could watch a new like half-hour long lesson on World War 1.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know that channel.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So yeah, that's the problem. So well,
That's our setup action scene. That's our like, oh, we
Yeah.
started the movie.
exactly.
We've established our tone. We know we got our cheeky guys, and they're gonna be shooting Nazis, and the Nazis are bad, and we're gonna be having some fun. Don't worry. And there you go.
Yeah.
The movie can, I guess, progress now that our opening is done.
Exactly. And yeah, as I said, they do the whole Operation Postmaster thing. Is their plan against that?
Yeah, they establish the U-boat problem. They establish that right now, politically, Churchill is being pressured by pretty much everybody to agree to terms for peace, which Churchill just sees as appeasing Hitler. Hitler's
Yeah.
a madman and a lunatic. He's the well from which evil springs. I read his book. He's crazy. This wouldn't be a peace arrangement. This would be us surrendering.
Yeah.
And if we do that, all of Europe will be essentially in evil Nazi darkness. And Churchill's like, no, we're not gonna give in to Hitler. But because of the political situation and not wanting to get like Spain involved in the war, because it is technically in Spanish territory.
Yeah, it's a Spanish colony, which is considered neutral, and this is where they basically park the ships to resupply the U-boats with. And
Yeah,
if they would
there's-
attack them just straight up, all of unoccupied Europe would join the Nazis in war.
Well, yeah, probably Spain would certainly.
least Spain, yeah.
They think Spain would join
Yeah.
the war on the side of the Nazis, and others might as well. So that's why they have to be covert, an unsanctioned mission to do this, and on the Spanish island, where the resupply ship, the Duchess, is moored. So everyone else says no, Churchill don't, and he's like, oh yeah, well. And he whispers like, we gotta do a secret thing, and we have to blow up the U-boat thing. We gotta keep it secret. And then they're like, oh, who would be mad enough to do a mission like this? And I
just
know the
your
guy.
man.
I know just the man.
It's like,
and
there's
that
this-
man knows just the men.
There's this crazy guy who likes Warhammer. We're gonna get him in. And, he's gonna do all the crazy stuff. Yeah, as I said, we're gonna get Gus in because he's mad, and all the madmen follow him. Basically
I love
anywhere.
I love when Carrie Oles is like talking to him. It's like, who are these men you have in mind? It's like, well, they're rough around the edges and they're quite mad. And he's like, they'll have to be.
They're all mad.
There is this very the movie feels very like the attitude of like that British sort of vibe that you get from World War II is very much present in this.
Yeah.
The British have this duality of being harumph and by the book and this
Yeah.
is the way things are done. But then there's also that element to the British, which is like, we are cheeky, crazy people who will do wild things.
Right.
And they have this creativity and ingenuity that's just a little out there. You see it in a lot of British comedy. It's just kind of wacky. And when you learn about all of the crazy stuff that the British did to thwart the Nazis, it's legitimately super interesting. All the different kinds of camouflage they'd come up with, building all kinds of different like fake cities, so that when Germans were flying above, they would get disoriented and attack the wrong targets.
Well,
The
didn't
British
they
did a lot
didn't
of
they
weird-
also do the whole thing on? I don't know if it was on D-Day, but they just put up a whole lot of fake tanks and camps, so they thought they're going to be attacking from there.
They would build these like wooden and canvas
Yeah.
coverings for trucks, but they were shaped like tanks, so that if German reconnaissance was flying around,
They would think
or if
it's
they were being
tank
seen
battalions.
by a distance, they'd be like, "Oh shit, they have all of these tanks." But it was actually just trucks that were dressed up.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
And they would try to do the opposite things with tanks, where they dress up tanks as trucks. and all these cool, nifty things that they would do back in the day when, you know, technology-wise, you were looking through binoculars and you hoped that they were a good pair, or you were flying and you were looking down from your plane, looking at stuff, kind of flying by eye in navigation, you know, old school navigation. So tricks like this did and they helped tip the war in the into the, or is it to the war to the side of the British? A lot of the times there was a lot of this stuff happening, especially when, like we're talking about in northern Africa, when the British were fighting the Nazis there. You would have like, well, you know, we don't have all the trees and stuff and the shrubbery and the cover that we have in Europe. So what are the kinds of things we could do? It's like, well, we can dress this up as this. We can have our camouflage like this, and we can, you know, make these things look like these things and keep a low profile here, and we can do all this stuff. I don't know. I just get a little tangent of all the cheeky British things, but this movie, it has that Britishy sort of, cheekiness is just the word for it. Just a little playfully bantery. We are official people. We wear nice jackets and fancy hats, and we smoke good cigars and drink good brandy. But we also like we'll get our hands dirty and we'll do
when it's
some
time
wild
to
stuff.
fight. We also have guys like Henry Cavill and Alan Ritchson who are ready to just like destroy you.
We will pull shenanigans. We will do it. We are British.
Send the lads.
Shenanigans. Yes, send the lads.
They're basically putting together a Suicide Squad, for lack of a better term, but with less cringe characters, at least from the first one. Second one was fine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think this team, I think we can at least say the team is more similar to the Inglourious Bastards team than the Suicide Squad team.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Even though
so. Yeah.
Stiglitz is on the other side here.
There's never like, you will do it and you will die and that will be glorious and whatnot. Is this more of a like, they'll do it because it needs to be done, damn it.
Yeah.
Because they are the mad ones who can do it. There's never like this. It's never portrayed as like a suicide mission or they expect to die. It's definitely like, oh, you'd be a crazy guy to pull this one off. It's like, yep, good thing we're crazy.
Like
and it's so that they go and do it.
They make clear it's a potential that they either get captured by the Spanish and put in prison, or by the Nazis and then get also put into prison and probably killed.
Well, we wouldn't want torture and death, would we, boys?
No. Would we, boys?
Well, and I think that's the whole thing is they seem like guys who are just up for a challenge. And because, at least for the last several years, Warcraft has been what they do. And they're really competent dudes.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's the satisfaction of completing a thing that everyone thinks no one's going to be able to do is almost enough for them.
Yeah, we go through our list of, like, all right, Cavill, who do you need? And he's like, well, I'll need Bobby Dingo, and he's a crazy archery man. And then we'll need Spunky Dorkadork, and he's a man who's crazy. We need this Irish lad. He's a very, very good sailor. Oh, we'll need Aquaman. He's very, very good at swimming and things like that.
Likes cockroaches.
Yeah, he likes cockroaches, and he breeds salamanders, and all these just weird things about them. And then they get their little team together. Boom, they're together. We get caught up. Each one of them sort of has different skills.
I got them all here. I'll go through it here in a second.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Or
no, it's all right. You go through that, and then when it comes up, I will give a praise that I have of the movie.
Yeah. Before we do that, it's just a nice little funny bits where they explain the whole operation to Gus, and he just kind of goes around. It's like, help yourself to some tea, and he just goes over there. It's like, looks at the whiskey, looks at the other guy. He's just like, yeah, just take it. And just takes it, and it's like, the cigars, and he's like, yeah, it's like all done without words while the one guy's explaining the operation. And he takes some matches, he takes some whiskey, he takes like probably 10 cigars out of the cigar box.
Yeah, Cavill's helping him. He's helping himself to all the goodies, and
he like scratches the chair over the floor while he's talking. Like, it's like he's not even paying attention, but you can tell he is paying attention because he's like asking, target, what are we doing? So he's everything is going in his brain, but it doesn't look like it. He's just kind of like, yeah, okay. Like at some point he takes the lighter from one of the I don't even know what the guy is.
He just grabs it right off the table in front of him.
Yeah, and he only notices like later, and he just looks at the other guy. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Just let him take it. Don't worry about it."
It's why he's here. Trust me, he's the right kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it's just a fun little movie, just doing some fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's Cavill. He was supposed to take the tea, but he took the brandy and he poured himself a big glass. Oh, he took a cigar. Oh God, he's taking another. And oh my God, why he's
Yeah.
taking so many cigars? Oh, he put them in his pocket. But we're talking about the mission too, so it's a joke that happens simultaneous to him being explained his mission and him explaining to the officers that he needs his people and I'm gonna need a team.
Yeah. We also get introduced to Heron and Marjorie for the first time
Heron
here.
and Marjorie, yeah.
Who is very attractive.
Oh my, yes.
Very,
so
very attractive.
This actress, Aisa Gonzalez, the first time I ever saw her was she played Santanico Pandemonium in the From Dusk Till Dawn TV show.
Oh,
being Salma Hayek's
Dawn
character.
TV show. I didn't even know that exists.
Yeah, she played the Salma Hayek character. It was the first time Robert Rodriguez made a TV show, and little did I know it would be the last time I would ever want him to make a TV show because, the Book of Boba Fett sucked.
Yeah. Oh,
yes, it did.
I thought From Dusk Till Dawn was all right though. It was an interesting kind of expansion of that world.
Never seen it.
At the same
As I
time,
said, I didn't even know it existed. So.
Yeah, Marjorie and Heron are gonna be our spy side of the story. So they're gonna have sort of a B plot where they are working with the boys, but they're doing all the secret stuff. They're doing the sneaking around, stealing intelligence, setting up bombs. They have their cover stories, and they actually are secretly working for the Allies when they're dealing with Germans and stuff.
Yeah, because Heron, he has like establishments and everything set up for a while now.
He's a businessman set up there. Yeah,
got like hotels and casinos and illegal gold trade stuff going on, and it's like, oh, doing well for yourselves? Like, I'm doing all right. And he's like, oh, high-ranking Nazi officers are my finest clientele. He's like, oh, good for you. And Marjorie is an actress and a singer, and she has been trained for like 2 years already to basically distract and seduce officers if need be. In this case, specifically, was it Lure? I think it was Lure.
Lure? Yeah. She is our... Yeah, she's our sexy seductress / spy lady.
Yeah.
And Heron is the suave businessman kind of guy they're both very charismatic, and they make a good like team talking to each other. They're not portrayed as being too good or just like superhuman. They're both really good at their jobs. They act the part well. And arguably, I'd say that their scenes were the most engaging in the movie because there's a decent there's like an actual sense of danger sometimes when they were doing stuff and they were trying to keep their cover and do all their sneaky business.
Quite nice. So now we go through the team that he needs. Like, well, if I wouldn't do this, I need a team. And Mark already says like they're quite mad. This is kind of fun because he does like a little pause. Well, they're quite mad. Well, they need to be, exactly. And then he goes through his list. Well, we need Henry Hayes, brother of a good friend of Gus, which we never hear anything else about. That's just all you need. And he's like, his friend died drowning after his boat got sunk by a U-boat, actually. And he took him under his wing, and he's a fantastic sailor, and that's why we need
the
him.
Irishman,
he was also the young Voldemort in one of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And apparently he's like Ray
World War
Fiennes'
II really changed
cousin or nephew or something.
I like how with our Irishman character here, Hayes, he's got the Irish accent. And because he's like the expert sailor, it's important because that's how they get to where they're going, is they're going to be on their boat. And whenever things need to happen in terms of sailing, he is the person who's conferred with, like, well, can we do this? Can we make it here in this time? Can we sail this distance and get there safely and stuff? He's the one who's like, yes, I can or cannot do this. And his expertise is not like questioned. He's the sailing guy. He's the boat. He's the shipman. so his expertise is trusted.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then we got Freddy the Buzz Frogman. That's the
Freddy
guy.
the Buzz Frogman.
He's the one who blew up the ship earlier, and basically he's a very good swimmer and a convicted arsonist. He's very very good at blowing things up. And
if he's not blowing something up, he's not happy or something like that. He just likes to blow stuff up, and he's a crazy good swimmer. And
He swim across the channel with his feet tied together.
Yeah. So we've got another set of skills that are being added here.
Yeah, and then he goes on to the big boy. He just the Danish hammer, and the guy who's writing it down is like, "What?" it's like a little little thing going on. It's like Anders Lassen.
Well, for them, the Danish hammer is a delicious sweet treat.
That's true. That's right.
Everyone, I love to go to the candy store and get me some Danish hammers.
He's like he grew up wrestling bears and hunting elk. He's a legend with the Bowie knife and a bow and arrow. And he gave up filleting fish for Nazis and joined us at some point. He's an uncontrollable bad dog who knows 100 ways to kill a man. That's how he's introduced.
He's our big, strong, very skilled muscle man.
Yeah.
For sure, the Danish representation in this film is pretty good. The Danish are eaten well for their reputations.
When you see him throughout the movie, like even early on in the first scene, you're like, oh, you want him on your side. Like if he's on your side, he's chill, but if you're on the other side, you're dead.
Well, he's the guy who plays Reacher on Amazon, and he's uncomfortably jacked. Like you look at him and you're just like, man,
I didn't feel
you're like, Jesus, that's how
he
a
is
man
a
should
huge
probably
man.
look.
He is
right.
he's like a Pixar person, but real.
Yeah.
He makes Henry Cavill look small, and Henry Cavill is jacked already.
Yeah, Henry Cavill plays...
Oh yeah, he dwarfs Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill plays like the gun-toting officer in this that Alan Ritchson is the muscle dude for. Like, he is the hammer, and in what's it called? Henry Cavill's the scalpel of this one, I suppose.
Right.
Although really, it's Marjorie. And
pretty much
Heron.
all of the big brawls that happen are gonna be with Lawson.
Yeah,
and you
basically
can
every other one is
that
just using their rifles and guns and maybe stab one or two people when they get too close. But he's just like, I'm gonna grab this thing here. I'm just gonna go and kill him.
Anything nearby is a thing I can then start using as a thing that I can kill Nazis with.
Yeah, when he gets into a close quarters fight, he feels very comfortable being able to just like run forward and just destroy someone in close combat with his massive arms. Whereas he's not like a brute. There's a finesse to him. He's very skilled with a bow. Yeah. He's not stupid. But he's just a really strong guy, and he knows that he can fuck people up close. So he will bridge the gap and use that.
Yeah, he's quite fun.
I like too how we haven't gotten to this character yet, but when they rescue one of the other guys on the team, it seems like he was just happy to have gotten to see him fight up close. Like he's just like, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He carves out the dude's heart afterwards too.
Yeah. Also, the guy we're talking about is Jeffrey Appleyard. We need him because he's a master planner, a survivor, a chess grandmaster, and a surgeon with the blade. And apparently he saved gas out of a foxhole in Dunkirk, and without him he would probably still be there, meaning they would have died in there. But we have a problem, because the British were like, we knew that, so we sent him over there ready to gather information. Unfortunately, on the way back he got captured, and he's now secured by a battalion of Nazis, and Gusto says, "Oh, that's fine. He's on the way. It's on the way. We'll just go there and save him." And it's like, "You're mad." It's like, "Let that be my problem."
Well, we'll have to break him out, and that's just all right. We're breaking him out.
Like, all right
then.
Now
that's
we're
plan.
pulling off an entire other operation as just a side mission on the way to what we're actually doing.
And then he leaves, but not before saying, "Oh, that's a nice coat. I need to get me one of those." And then we cut while he's going out, and he got the coat from the guy. The first of 2 coats he's gonna get in this movie.
He's a man. He knows what he likes.
Yeah,
he knows what he likes.
He wants some fancy clothes, and he gets them. He gets them.
Yeah, it's like it's the little bitty character things that happen throughout this movie. It's nothing like amazing or anything. It's just like, yeah, everyone's kind of, you just sort of see people, and everyone's got their little mannerisms, and they have their accents and their little skills. So it's just kind of neat to see that.
Yeah,
they're distinct without being super. They're not well developed.
Like,
but
it feels
they're
like Guy Ritchie is trying to knows what he's doing here. We're not going to like a conversation between Hayes and Gus, like, oh, I'm so sad your brother died, and oh, we're so close. Like, no, they're just having bands, they're friends and stuff. Like, it's pretty normal. They probably already had their talk at some point about the brother and the friends and stuff, because they've known each other for a while. And it's like, hey, we're gonna go off this crazy mission you're in. It's like, of course, I'm in. But they're all very distinct. It's just it's fun. It's good stuff. Very nice. But then we get our first little sneaky mission. Because we cut to, or am I forgetting something? No, I don't think so. I think we're going straight to the train, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I've taken down. I'm just trying to remember if I forgot like a little scene.
You know what,
between,
Metal? That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, because Harry and Marjorie, they're just on the train, and they're talking about how there's only sausage, cabbage, and black bread because the Germans took over the cooking as well. And they're just kind of like talking about how, oh, it's either that or just the British cuisine. And I'm just like, oh man, I want the French food because that's so great. And I was like, okay.
I'm gonna offer a little bit of a defense for German food. It can be very, very good. So
I was about to say, like, I'd take the cabbage, sausage, and black bread. Really, like that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, there's definitely I went to a German restaurant once, and it was very good. It was yummy.
What you get? You remember?
It was like they were like they were like noodles, but they weren't. I have to think. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember it was really good. I had a beer that was yummy. There was it was like a meat pasta kind of dish with a certain, like a sauce or something over it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't quite remember. It was good. It was good. And the noodles were like they were like noodles, but they weren't pasta. It was like a sort of. I'd have to look it up again.
Let me see.
It was good. Okay, it was good, and I liked it.
Let me see. Was it this? Hang on, let me get a picture here. When I can find the Discord. Was it those? Something like that? No,
they were like actually noodles, like a noodle thing that was served with a sauce, and like mushrooms with some meat or something else.
Huh. Then I don't.
What are those, like beans? I don't even know what I'm looking at here.
No, those are like doughy stuff. It's like doughy, like kind of noodle-ish, but they're like more doughy.
But they were like it wasn't quite spaghetti-like, but it was I don't know, noodly, I guess.
Noodly, yeah. That's fine. I thought you meant those maybe, but that doesn't matter. But yeah,
I don't know if it was one of our earliest dates, but like when X-Ray Girl and I, when we first started dating, like around the beginning of our relationship.
Well, that was probably one of your first dates, if it was one.
No, but like I mean, because I don't think it was. I think it was like about maybe 6 months into our relationship. But anyways, the point is, she used to teach at this X-ray school that was beside this pub that we went to that had a lot of really good German beers. And the one time that we ate there, they had German food as well. We noticed, so it's like, okay, I guess this is a German pub, even though it just looks like a normal pub. And I had schnitzel, and it was phenomenal.
Schnitzel's good.
That's where I was going with that. Schnitzel is good food.
Hell yeah. No, I'm hungry.
It's been a while though. Like that's the only reason I've set up the timeline.
Nice.
But
it's kind of a coincidence, isn't it? X-ray girl works at an X-ray school. It's kind of
I mean I gave her screen handle because I was streaming once and someone asked me about the date that I went on the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Well, because I didn't want to say her name, like her actual name, so I was just like, she does X-rays.
No, so instead of letting her pick her own, you gave her one, like a fucking slave or a pet, and then that was that.
Yeah, I mean, she was free to change it, but I think she liked it.
Well, apparently not. Still there.
I was like, no, my name is Akimbo Day.
My joke is like, as far as the girls I was dating around that time, you so easily could have been Starbucks girl. You have no idea.
I'm sure
Because
that
you dated
handle
people from
exists already.
Starbucks.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just I gave her a name based on her job, and it was kind of random that it became X-Ray, and then she's a personality of her own now.
You don't want those basic bitch Starbucks girls. You want those crazy ass 7 Brew gals. That's what you want.
7 Brew, is that like a more local thing, but the same like Starbucks?
Yeah, I don't think we have them in Canada. We have Second Cup here. I think people know about that because of the Scott Pilgrim movie.
I think every country has like their Starbucks local thingies. I'm pretty sure like in my city there's like a Starbucks kindish restaurant or coffee shop thingy where you can get all kinds of weird coffee mixtures. I never go to those. I just want black coffee.
I enjoy
You drink
caffeine.
it just black straight up.
Yeah.
My mom does the same. I think it's disgusting.
Oh
It's
yeah,
awful.
you have to like
I
it.
hate black coffee. You have to have to do a lot to coffee to get me to drink it. But I like it when I do, but it's just it can't just be coffee.
I usually just put a bit of milk in my coffee. Chocolate milk's a good bet if you have good chocolate milk. A little thing of that in there is very tasty.
Like a mocha.
Yeah, kind of. It's like an instant mocha. You just brew good coffee and then squirt a chocolate milk or what would be the word for it?
Stop squirting in my
Pour?
coffee. What the hell?
No, not squirt. What would you say when you like pour
Squirt
a
my
little bit of milk
coffee.
in something?
I only want the woman at the counter to squirt my coffee.
Splash.
Well,
Splash,
that
that's
depends
what-
who's standing in front of me. Let's be
I was looking for the word splash.
careful.
I found it.
a little splash. A little splash of
Splash.
squirt in my
Splash
coffee.
of chocolate milk.
Splashy
Yeah,
boy.
that's a good bet. Drink a lot of black coffee in the field, though. Oh man. Mostly because they don't have milk. Because so it's either no caffeine or drink the black coffee, and you drink the black coffee.
Yeah, drink the black coffee. Oh boy. But yeah,
I think it's gross.
we have a little spy scene, the first one, because we need intel. We need to know if the Duchessa, was it Duchessa, the Duchess, yeah, that we need to blow up. We need to know if there's actually stuff on there, or if we're just gonna blow up an empty ship, and that wouldn't do any good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I think Heron specifically says in this scene, we got to know the bank's full before robbing. No point in robbing a bank if it's empty.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They say they have to confirm that the Duchess is full of all the supplies before they blow it up.
It's like
Which is one of those like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
because those U-boats need like air filters and diesel and ammo and all that stuff. So
yeah, they have all the fuel. They have the carbon dioxide filters to produce oxygen for the submarines. All of the like bombs and torpedoes and shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, we do it's like a pretty standard spy thing, I'd say, because we have
standard,
like
but not bad.
No, it's not bad, definitely not bad. It's just like some normal ranking soldiers or low ranking soldiers. They're just hanging out on the train, having some drinks, and our very attractive lady is getting up with a big suitcase, and one of the soldiers.
I haven't seen Germans on a train since Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I say I'm sorry. That's when I last seen some as well. So I guess we can sorry for each other. But yeah, one of the soldiers stands up. Oh, pretty lady, but he also kind of talks German-ish with English combined. It's kind of fun because he's drunk. And he's like, oh, go on. He's like, no, let me through. Blah blah blah. And always, as you would expect, there's like a higher ranking officer in the back. It's like, soldiers, stop it! And it's kind of weird because he just keeps talking German even to Marjorie, and she seems to understand it. Which makes sense actually. Never mind. I was about to say something that wasn't true, because apparently she can even speak German because she does a little sing song later in German. So she probably can actually
mostly
can talk the German. But yeah, he just kind of scolds the other soldiers like, sit down, you bastards. You're being rude to the lady. And he does like the things like, hold it, lady. There has been a crime. Because right before that, she puts the big suitcase on the small suitcase of the other soldier on it. It's like hollowed out, and like from the bottom she can like grab it, and I think she has to pull like I assume she has to pull like a thing on the handle so it stays in there and doesn't release again. And the guy's like, halt, ein Verbrechen, whole crime has happened. And I was just like, oh no, he figured out. And I was like, no, he's gonna tell her to take the thing and bring her to a room or say sorry. And that's what happens. And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm just gonna, I can grab it. Because obviously if he would grab it, it would probably release the other suitcase and their cover was blown. And before he can like force the thing out of her hand, Heron comes around. It's like, I got it, sir. Don't worry. And he's like, oh, chivalry isn't dead after all. And just kind of opens the door for them, and they get to their room safely. It's a fine scene. It's a fine scene. I don't mind it at all. It was pretty good, pretty fun.
Yeah, tense. I thought that the trick suitcase was a nice little spy gadget. Also, like very simple. Actually, kind of what Rags was talking about with the cam and concealment stuff with the tanks and trucks. The idea of having it be the thing that you drop off is just in case in what's basically, I guess, 4-sided. Yeah, I don't know, 5-sided. It's just no top side or bottom, I guess. That it isn't actually holding anything, but if you're just looking at it with the naked eye and you see a person walking with what looks like a complete suitcase, you're not going to be like, hey, can you show me the bottom of that?
Yeah.
And all you as the user have to do is remember to just hold it down at all times. Like, don't lift it up.
Exactly. And yeah, they
little old classic gadgets, nothing fancy or crazy. It's like a great, like the 40s and the teens and stuff like that. It's a great time period for just like neat gadgety stuff.
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry about AI analyzing.
Yeah,
it's
things.
easy to understand.
Or digital this.
Like, they don't need to tell you what happened. Like, you see the suitcase going over the other suitcase. I don't know if you could actually see her push a button, but I assume that's how it works, because otherwise she could have just given it to the guy. Because you obviously need a button to release it, so there's probably one on the handle. She grabs it up, the other suitcase is gone. You're like, okay. Easily understandable. Nice little spy gadget. Which, yeah, it's just... I like when I understand things in my movies. It's pretty good. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go
Show, don't tell here on display.
Yeah. They go to the little room where they have the little Morse station. And they just go like, beepity boopity boopity bop, and confirm it has all the things on there. So and so much diesel, so and so much air filters, and so on. They send that info to command, put the suitcase back where it was, but they don't just do it. They do like a little thing where she says thank you to the officer, so he doesn't look at Heron doing a thing. So they cover their basic bases. It's just nice to see when, movie makers do that. They just don't do shit and then doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, yeah, just let her do the thing in the background. It's like, oh, she's going to talk to the guy. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for being so nice to me. It was nice. So he's kind of distracted. And Heron does the thing, puts his suitcase over there, and then they come back straight when the food arrives, and they can have a little lunch or dinner together. And
both of their performances, too, I think, are suitably tense in this scene.
Yeah.
Because neither of them seem ultra confident that this is going to work, but they also seem confident enough that you can believe that they're pulling it off. It's like they walked a fine line. I think both actors did a good job.
They are definitely a good foil to the boys.
Yeah.
Who are much more cheeky, confident, kind of outgoing, self-assured.
Yeah. Then we just have a short scene with Churchill again, where basically all of his ministers are like, yo, you really should take the deal with Hitler. Like, we're losing pretty hard. And he's like, no, thank you. Fuck off. And yeah, that's what they do.
Churchill continuing to be based.
He's like, no, I don't think. He just says, thank you, gentlemen.
Like, no, sorry, I will not give up to the Nazis.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that you work for this government and you're suggesting that.
I mean, yeah, that's basically it. And well, we straight up jump into the next action scene with the boys because we have to have a little hiccup and then save the boy,
rescue our guy,
Mr. Appleyard, and it's 10 minutes of them killing shit and doing fun stuff. It's just very entertaining. Like they kind of scout things from a hill. They look through binoculars, and then some soldiers show up behind them. But the big guy, the Danish hammer, just shoots them with arrows. And again, we're doing silly here because he can shoot arrows through people. He's so strong. Like at some point, he kills two people with one arrow because it goes through the first one and then just tacks the other one in the wall.
Actually, I quite like the scene where they reveal that because it looks like he got shot, but they didn't hear anything. They're just like, what killed that guy? He's like, I shot him with an arrow. He's like, where's the arrow? And then they look at the wall beside them, and you notice that the arrow's gone right through the person, and then actually it was able to implant into the, I think, fence that it's in. Is it a fence?
I think it's in a tree or something.
It's in a tree, yeah.
It's a tree? Okay.
All the way through in a tree.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't know if that's real, but I guess I believe it because he's super strong, and all the other people are amazed by it. So
I believe it in this
amazing
movie.
in universe too.
Yeah, he's very strong.
Yeah, he's gigantic enough that he sells it.
Let me see here on my notes. I mean, yeah, they just kind of go in now because the big guy's like, well, it's time to kill. Because there's like Gestapo soldiers coming in.
Here I go killing.
Yeah, pretty much. Because there's like Gestapo soldiers coming in, and he's like, well, we can't wait until nightfall. We have to go in now. And the Danish hammer is like, well, I'm gonna get my hammer out. And it's like, well, not an actual hammer, but he just snipes people from the watchtowers with the bow. Like, I don't think he ever misses a shot with that thing. He's very good. He's a legend with the bow and arrow. You might say. And they just, at this point, they just kind of walk in, just shoot everybody. As you already said earlier, Mark, there's like a little bit of engine roaring going on that covers our bases a little bit more as well.
There's a big truck where the engine's being started or having issues.
I guess I appreciated it because there's so many movies that just wouldn't do that. They'd be like, oh, there's silencers on, it's fine. It's like, you know what? Having that engine does make it a little bit more immersive. Absolutely. Because I can kind of believe that these people aren't idiots. That they might just actually not hear. And yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, so it's fun. Like, two of them go right, two of them go left, and they just start killing shit. At some point, I don't remember who goes with who, but whoever is with Gus, they go into this classroom, I think, or in another. Was it a classroom in another room? I think it was. They go into one of these rooms, and someone does a joke. It's like, oh, that's not my wife, that's my dog. Ha 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 ha. And then they come inside the room, and both of them go like, ah ha ha, like over the top laughing, like not real laughter. And they just, all the Germans just turn around. It's like, what the fuck's going on? It's like, ha 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 ha. And they just all mow them down with their rifles, with their automatic rifles.
This game definitely shows you the importance of getting the drop on people.
Oh yeah.
It's very much. There's not like there's really not much in the way of open firefights that happen. It is people walking around with suppressed weapons, getting the drop on other people, hosing them down with things, and then with bullets, then moving on to the next little area, trying to sort of coordinate things. Nothing crazy, just like
dropping a live grenade into a pillbox.
Yeah,
and then just walking away. It's like, yeah, no one's getting out of there in time. Like that. That is pretty realistic. And likewise, like Regs was saying, that getting the drop on in that scene where they're laughing along with the joke, you might be thinking, oh, why would they take that time to make the joke and laugh? Because like all those guys have guns, but their guns were all leaning up against the wall or on the ground or on the table, and they had theirs at the ready. So there was no world in which any of those soldiers were going to be able to grab their gun and shoot them in time. Like they had the drop on them, and it was legitimately an advantage that was effectively unstoppable.
It's just funny to think, like, again, like they just cover their bases at least in this very basic way, and then they know to at least Yeah, because
show
I've
some
just
level
seen
of-
Rebel Moon, where they're all just standing in the fucking field and lasers just go past them, or plasma, or whatever the fuck Zach wants to call it. I don't give a shit. And they just fucking go everywhere except our main protagonists. And they go like, slow-mo. And it's like, you should have all died like 5 minutes ago. And this one is like, well, they got the drop. There's like this suppresses going on. They took out the watchtower guy, so there's at least some kind of structure going on where you can be like, okay, yeah, I can believe this in the setting of this universe at least, because we've already established we're doing a bit of crazy shit,
And these guys are sitting around joking, and they do not have their weapons at the ready. So something as simple as that.
Yeah.
If you got two guys with submachine guns and they just walk into a room, there might be 30 Germans in there, but the both of you, if you're spraying into that, group and you get the drop on them, you might just win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your target grouping such that you basically don't even need to aim. You're constantly going to be hitting a target at all times until they're all down on the ground, and then walk over top of them, sweep. But I mean, tactics and stuff. It's good that they surprised them, and it's reasonable that the Germans didn't have any ability to defend themselves.
Yeah. Also, before he went in there, Gus was like, "Oh man, those Gestapo codes, they look real nice. I need to get one of those." And he gets one of those after he kills the guy.
I mean, hey, Hugo Boss had a long business after the war.
So, I mean, they still have.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that's the thing. Nothing to complain about with the suits. They're nice looking suits. It doesn't make you a Nazi to like the suits.
Nazi, that's what a Nazi would say.
No, they're nice. They are nice.
Let's. Oh yeah, the other two. I guess the other two would be, I think, the Irishman and the Danish Hammer. I think those were the other two. He just kind of he mounts like a dual machine guns thingy.
Yeah. It's like an anti-aircraft gun.
Yeah, and there's the classroom. Yeah, no, I think because we were in another room before where they're just kind of hanging out. The other thing was like some kind of classroom or presentation room or whatever.
Yeah, like a briefing room.
Briefing room. And one guy is like, wait, that's not one of us. And he's like, Commander, he's like, don't interrupt me, soldier. He's like, yeah, but and then there's like a big explosion that happens because I think the Larson guy, he puts like the thing in the pillbox. And then like a big explosion is like, grenade. Oh shit. And then everyone in the class was like, oh, we need to get out of there. And the guy just takes like the dual machine gun encampment or turret. I don't even know.
I just got the AA gun.
The AA gun, yeah, probably. And he just starts shooting in a circle. And Gus on the other one was like, oh shit, let's get down. And there's like just mowing everything down, like in the vicinity. It's just killing probably like 30 to 40 soldiers with that thing. Yeah, it's just, it's just fun.
That's right, because wood is not bulletproof.
No.
So if you're in one of those little wooden houses, bullets will go straight through it.
Same with car doors, by the way.
That's right. Yeah. Car doors are not bulletproof. Cars are not designed to be bulletproof, typically.
So. If you ever want to take cover behind a vehicle, like a road vehicle, you go to the wheel well. That's where you want to be.
Or have
the only place you have a chance.
Or have a police
you want to
car.
You want to put the engine block between you and where the bullets are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the best chances of surviving.
Well, then they go inside where our boy Appleyard is. I say they. I think it's actually only Larson. He just goes in there and stabs a bunch of people and shoots them.
He gets in there and gets to a big fist fight with everyone. He just beats everyone, stabs them, and hits them in the face.
And Appleyard is just like, huh, do we know each other?
He's like, no. He's like, oh, hang on. This guy is still alive. And just off screen, just hear like, ah!
You don't know what he's doing to him, and I thought it would be funny if they never told you, but it ended up being even funnier when they tell you.
He just has a heart in his hand. It's like, oh, cut his heart out. It's like, oh. So you guys gonna unshackle me? The car battery's still on. Like, he has like clamps on his nipples with like a car battery attached to it, and he's not even reacting. He's just like, there's like, okay.
Well, I mean,
jolly good to see you.
Yeah,
he didn't break, so I guess he was just used to the current.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that, the apple yard has been rescued. They leave the camp or the settlement, whatever it is. It explodes. They don't look at the explosion because cool guys don't look at explosions. And we have saved our boy. And we had a lot of fun doing it. Pretty fun stuff.
And a nice little mid-movie action scene. I think throwing this bit in there was a good call.
Yeah, it was fun. It's going to be a lot different than action scenes later, because obviously the one at the end of the movie, the big one, it's at night, and it's like in a harbor, mostly on ships. So,
right. Then we have more stuff with Marjorie and Heron, because they finally meet with their contact, Mr. Lure, who's played by Til Schweiger. The Bear Jew.
Yeah. No. He's not the Bear Jew.
Oh, wait,
he's
no.
Hugo Stiglitz.
Right, Stiglitz. Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Bear Jew was Eli Roth.
Yeah, you're right. I mixed him up. I need to rewatch Inglourious Bastards, apparently.
It's a good movie.
I really love that movie. It's really good. Yeah, man, Til Schweiger, he's 60 now. He's still working.
Looking good, yeah.
Yeah, he's I think he mainly does German movies. Actually, I was kind of looking at his movies, and it's like, oh, that's all the movies I've never seen and probably will never see in my life. But
apparently, he's Germany's biggest star.
Oh yeah,
like,
if you
most successful director too.
If you'd ask someone in Germany for a German actor, they're probably going to mention him. Him and probably the one other guy that I just forgot the name of, that is also in a lot of things. It's the baddie man from Civil War. He's a German, isn't he? Is that the guy I was thinking of?
Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah, Daniel Brühl. Exactly.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He's probably gonna be like the second one that people would mention.
He's also in Inglourious Bastards.
Wait,
he's the one who goes after what's her name, the beautiful girl. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Shoshana.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Damn. See, he's 45. He's not even that old. Damn.
Yeah, I think he was pretty young in that movie.
But yeah, he's.
I almost forgot he was in that until you mentioned.
No, probably need both to rewatch that movie.
Inglourious Bastards 4 is coming soon.
Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, they meet up with good old Till, and it's just another really well acted scene where they just talk to each other. We established that he is he's basically in command of this neutral land, even though there's like Spanish and Italian commanders, but they don't really get to say anything. He's like the real man in power, and we need to get him not on board. We need to get him interested in Marjorie, because she's acting as a gold trader, was it, or broker or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, something to that effect.
And it's like, yo, why would I even consider you? I already have a very profitable thing going on. And I was like, well, you can just try it, and if it's not, I give you even more, and if not, you can just sell it and keep it for yourself, and we just all move along. Just like, she's just very witty, and she's an actress, obviously. She's not a gold trader, of course.
She's an actress playing an actress.
Actress playing an actress.
Playing a role.
And just witty dialogue from her, and they do like some puzzle thingies going back and forth, like trying to outwit each other almost. And she kind of gets like the last laugh at the end, because he doesn't reply to that one immediately. And he's also a crazy torture man of sorts, because in the other room he was apparently torturing someone. I don't actually know who or why, but he's evil. That's what we're trying to say. He's very evil.
Yeah.
And dangerous.
Established earlier on that, yeah, this isn't a guy that we want you liking.
Yeah. But yeah, again, just very well acted. Pretty well acted. Good dialogue. I mean, I just keep saying it. It's just nice when you have good actors with good direction that can hold a normal feeling conversation in the movie that doesn't feel like they're just talking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like, oh, okay, we need him to do like talk more to you. And Heron's plan is, well, we're gonna do 2 parties, one for the officers and one for the soldiers. So they're basically like in 2 different places in specific sorts.
Yeah.
And at the officers' party, Marjorie has to take care of Lure and distract him to keep him there and stuff. And that's the plan for now. Then we got another scene with the boys on the ship. And they just kind of plot the course, and we establish, well, we could do it a bit we could do it faster, or we don't want faster, we want like silent and uninterrupted. We don't want to get seen by either the British nor the Germans while we go there, so we kind of go the long way around, and it's going to take us about 15 days. And there's also some more funny banter with the Danish hammer. He's like, oh, I won't have my way with you. You're too pretty for me, but but you, Freddy, on the other hand, he's like, well, you gotta.
They basically just play. They play gay chicken with each other.
Yeah, you gotta.
And then like at a certain point, he's just like, wait, like, are we starting to actually flirt? It's getting kind of hot in here, isn't it?
It's like, well, you have to get to us. Well, I'd like to hunt. It's like, well, you gotta be careful. And I think he ends the scene with like, well, I'm actually getting kind of hard right now.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that made me giggle. But yeah, we now have the time frame they need to get over there, and right. Who we got now? Oh, we got a scene at one of Heron's bars, whatever, and we get introduced into Captain Benia. It's a Spanish captain here. He's like from the Spain mans, and he's angry because the Germans basically took over his harbor, but he's in charge. Screw those Germans. They annoy me. They just do everything.
Benea? Benea, maybe?
Benea, yeah.
Henrique Zaga's character. Or Heinrich? Henrique? Henrique?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of have we now have like a bunch of setup things going on. So this is it's gonna be things where it's like, oh, doing the things, and we also learn here that the ship actually leaves 3 days earlier than what they knew. It's like, oh, that's we need to get that info to our boys. But before that, we have another conversation with Lure and Marjorie, and it's like, well, do you know this big gold trader in New York? And she's like, no, actually I don't. It's like, well, that's weird. You're like a gold trader, but you don't know one of the biggest or the biggest one there. It's like, well, I know the other one, which is on the west side of the city, but you probably knew that already, right? There's like a back and forth again where they go around, and she also talks about how, well, Hitler actually misrepresents some tribe that I guess he mentioned in Mein Kampf or something. I actually have no idea, but she talks about some tribe that was like actually kind of impressive and prospered, even though they were oppressed for thousands of years.
She's talking about the Jews. She starts off like she's being like, no, he was wrong about the Jews, and despite all the people trying to stop him, they've prospered so much and they've survived, and and then she says that. You know,
I thought you mentioned like a specific tribe or something. I was a bit confused by that because I just didn't know about it. But yeah, because she then ends it with, she also doesn't only admire the Jew, she is one. And it's like all tense and stuff, and it's kind of
this was flying a little close to the sun.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because I don't think I've seen it like this before, because the bad guy goes like and she just stays serious for like a couple of seconds longer. Like he starts laughing. It's like, oh, of course. Like, wait, are you serious? And then she starts laughing, and he is like, you're crazy. This is gonna be a wonderful friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a risky move to me. I was like, I would have maybe not. I would have steered clear of that entirely.
I think she's trying to be really, really like risque, and like an attitude that will appeal to him in particular is what she's going for. I don't think with other people she would take this, but I think based off how he's characterized, how he sort of behaves, she's trying to be like dangerous and appear risky and very, very confident that she can make.
Oh, she does do a good job of that.
Yeah.
Beautiful actress.
Yeah, especially later at the party. Ooh.
Yeah. You know what? Like, it seems like this is a part they may have given to Gal Gadot, but it's a lot
that
better.
That would have ruined the fucking
movie. Hiring this girl was a much better call. Like, Isa Gonzalez was quite good.
If I never have to see her in a movie again, that's too soon. Right. God, she sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. We've seen it enough.
Studios, give the Gal Gadot rose to Isa Gonzalez.
Yeah.
She's better.
Right. Oh yeah, they basically just relay now the information to the boys that the ship is gonna leave 3 days earlier, and they have like a little discussion going on. It's like, well, why should we? Well, we can't make it, right? So it's GG. And it's like, well, we have to make it. We're already on our way. We never not finish a mission. And Larson is at some point is like, why? When did they do this and why? This is crazy. It's like, doesn't matter. No, wait, that's actually later. I'm mixing up scenes. But basically they decide, well, we're going to take the shorter path, which goes through very dangerous waters because it will be right between the Germans and the Brits and just shipping their way right over, right above all the U-boats. So big danger. And he just asked the Irishman, can you make it? And he's like, of course I can make it. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you say, Captain.
He's a good sailor.
And I think they also get like a speech from Churchill specifically, like a little radio call.
On the radio, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we'll do it because it needs to be done, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these men they're not for glory or like for king and country or any of that. They'll do it because it needs to be done. They'll do it because no one else can, and they will. Nazis got to be stopped.
Exactly.
Yep. They're hard motherfuckers.
Well, of course, the thing doesn't go completely well, the shipping, because they get sighted by a British vessel, a big old destroyer, and they try to pretend
remember,
yes.
The problem, they can't get caught by the British because technically they are criminals.
Yeah.
On an unsanctioned mission.
And they have to be taken in by command of Admiral Pound, I think his name was, because he's like, you gonna take those guys?
Well, nowadays he'd be called Admiral Hashtag, but it was a different time.
That's
so.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes Admiral number, depending on who you ask.
What do you mean?
Because he used the number hashtag sign for a number as well.
Very true, Metal.
Yeah.
That's true.
So they just start to pretend like, oh, we're not, we're just this Swedish men, we're just fishing and stuff. And this is kind of fun because Larson starts talking and he's like, no, I want Gus to see, make him try. He's like, like he just looks at him like, wait, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you already know what it is. Like, well, you can't fault the girl for trying. And yeah, but he's like, well, we're gonna have to take you in because you're on an unsanctioned mission, blah blah blah. And conveniently, before this happens, a U-boat arrives, and they just have to split basically because they don't want to get sunk by the U-boat. I think what they do is they kind of shoot into the water, I guess, to confuse the U-boat with their sonar or whatever, however it works.
I think they say they launch depth charges.
Oh, it's depth charge. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And it's like, you better go home. And obviously,
by the way, the way that a depth charge works is the massive explosion it's not the explosion. At least as far as I know, it's not the explosion that just causes all the damage. It's all of the water suddenly rushing back in to fill that hole.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
And that's
like
what
a
fucks
vacuum
the ship
effect.
up.
Interesting.
oh, neat.
Yeah.
22
so,
years in the Army. I'm not Navy, though, so I don't know some of those things.
So yeah, I get. I mean, to be honest, that was very convenient for them, so they can get out. But I guess now Pound knows they are actually here and that things are going on. I guess is the idea for this scene. Because there's not like a. Because I was expecting we do like a thing where they have to dodge the U-boat and they have to do kind of things like, no, the Brits go their way this way, our team goes the other way, and that's it. But we now go back to Heron and Marjorie because we're gonna talk to some harbor pirates. Actually forgot his name. Does anyone remember?
It was yeah, I forget the character's name.
Yeah.
He's really neat. He's a really neat guy.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I saw it a minute ago. Kambili Kalu.
With a K.
Yeah. 2 Ks.
I remember that it says with a K, but yeah, and they basically just talk to each other like, well, I hear that you are the one to go to if things need to get done. And it's like, exactly. Here, we brought you some goodies. And then they just have a little bit of a bit eating, some cigars and stuff. And it's like, well, I'll help you. I'll give you like 16 men or whatever, including yours truly. Well, what about you, Heron? You're not the soldier type. And it's like, well, yeah, but she is. And then she just shoots a lot of guns and is very accurate. And it was like, whoa. And that's how the scene ends. That was just a meme, by the way. Like that she doesn't actually shoot anyone like in this capacity. She shoots
that's
one
what
guy.
I was gonna say. It's like, does that ever pay off for her?
No. That's what I was wondering when it happens. Like, oh, is she gonna? I guess she's gonna join the team at some point, and they shoot some people up, right? It's like, no, she just does more of her femme fatale actress thingies, which she does well, but she's not getting like a shootout or anything.
She can, yeah. It's like, yeah, she knows how to shoot a gun. She's, been trained for this stuff, so it makes sense that she'd be, qualified to shoot if she needs to. But yeah, she only shoots one person, and you don't need to be much of a marksman to make that shot. But,
shoot somebody point blank with the Derringer. But I thought that it was a neat little character thing to give to her, anyways, just so it made sense why they were okay with subjecting her to these situations.
Yes. Yeah, the rest of the of the little boat adventure goes as planned, and they arrive at the rendezvous and talk with Heron and the K-Man, our team, I mean, about the plan and have some banter. Again, just some fun banter. It's like, don't I know you from somewhere? It's like, I think it's like something about cricket, and he's like on a poster or something.
I think he went to school at Eton,
like that.
And he played cricket there, and he was like a cricket champion. So they have a connection where they went to school. I really like this Prince character. He gives me like the Lando Calrissian kind of vibes.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
He's like the smooth, svelte kind of like, I'm doing my own thing over here, running my little kingdom, and I'm well educated and charismatic and respected, and I have good taste in things.
Yeah, and he also wants the Sir title. And I guess
it was Knight of the Realm.
But you're already a prince. It's like, but Prince of the Harbor. This one is more sophisticated or something along those lines.
Yeah, he's got this like timeless quality to it.
Yeah.
What Rags mentioned about him going to Eton, those sort of British public schools, as they call them, which are like what Americans, I guess, would refer to as ultra high-end private schools, where a lot of like nobles send their kids. That a lot of the culture in those places is very status based. So the idea of getting a knighthood from the queen because of or king, I guess in this case, king, queen queen, right? 1942.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah,
The old
okay,
gal's
so-
kicking around
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, getting knighted from the queen would actually be something that he would view as worth going out of his way to do, even though it's not super necessary, because all the people that he went to school with would then have to look at him much differently because he'd be like a knight of the realm, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was a nice little connection there, though.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're now in executing the plan mode. Basically, we're starting the first couple of things. Also, they brought a bunch of guns and stuff. It's also kind of funny because if we need some guns, we brought some. It's like, oh, don't worry, we got our own, and they have like a whole armory on that boat with everything on there.
Oh yeah, they have a huge bunch of guns and mortars and crazy shit.
Yeah, it was like, oh, wonderful, it's fantastic. Then, oh yeah, Heron just goes to install a bomb because we need to get rid of the lights at night, so they're not getting spotted as easily. But no, there's guards in here. It's like, oh, we have a rat in here. What are you doing? And it's like 3 of them, but he has like a little I don't know, like a retractable gun in his sleeve.
No gun that comes out of the coat sleeve.
And he like shoots 2 of them, but the last one like it jams, and for some reason that last one is too retarded to get his gun out.
They show him fumbling with his holster, like
Yeah.
he's just panicking, staring at the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh god, and then he just kind of stabs him. And the bomb.
He reloads his knife.
He reloads his knife, yeah. And he plans the bomb. He planted the bomb for the night. Like a little time bomb.
Yeah. It's like at the electric generator for the lights, the
Yes.
power.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 bodies here now. I assume those won't be a problem because we just move on.
I assume he moved them or
Yeah, exactly.
got rid of them or something, but they don't show. Yeah, if that was.
Mm-hmm. Then Marjorie goes to Lure. She's already in costume as Cleopatra, which is who,
as we know, is black. So I don't know why she thinks she can pull that off.
Yeah, bigotry.
It was a little
obviously.
racist, but it was also extremely sexy.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny because
she's,
later there's like a thing a little bit later. It's like, oh, can you pull off that Lure doesn't leave this party for the next 30 minutes? She's like, have you seen the dress I'm wearing? I think I'll be fine. And she just basically convinces him to go to the party because it is established earlier. Lure's like, he's not. I don't really care for parties. Why don't you like do something else with like the other officers? Like do like a real party that's not with like music and stuff. Because he doesn't seem to be liking those big old parties. But she's like,
no,
well,
he doesn't like it.
I went to all these places and stuff, and now I want to go party, and you're taking me. And he's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, she's convincing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think she knows that he likes that kind of strong-willed kind of woman, not just someone he can walk all over.
Proactive. Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds pretty woke to me. I don't know.
Pretty woke. Girl boss 0 to 10. Snowy garbage movie.
Snoy. Dude, the term snoy that's been around now since the synthetic man EFAP.
It is funny.
It's a funny term. I like to use it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I get. We're just at the party for a bit, and just doing some banter, doing around. She's like seducing the lure man a little bit. And basically, the idea is now, and that's how it works. There's like a party for soldiers that is like in a different place, like in a big warehouse kind of thing, probably where they store like cars and ammo and whatever. Made a lot of space there to throw a party for them there. And there's like another one in the nice casino kind of looking thingy. I always call it a casino. I don't think that it's actually a casino, but it kind of gives me like casino vibes. If that makes any sense.
I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess also because they're dressed as like Cleopatra and Caesar. Maybe it's because he looks like the Caesar's palace.
Maybe
statue.
that's why I was thinking casino this whole time. Oh yeah, I should have probably said that. She made him wear the Caesar outfit.
Caesar outfit. Yeah.
And yeah, they're just kind of talking, and then I think the Italian commander of this place comes around. He's like, "Well, I hope you." That's actually the thing you mentioned earlier, Mark, where the language comes into place, because he can't understand. Lord can't understand him, so he's like, "Well, I hope you treat her better than the Duchessa or Duchesse." Oh, he disfigured her with like steel plates, and it's now unsinkable. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was very, very convenient. That just came up randomly like this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. Although, I don't know. I wonder how it actually went down in the actual mission.
Not they did steal it. I actually read up on this. So they actually did tow it out, from what I understand, the way they do it here. But there was never like a plan to blow anything up. Like in the in the real events, they do blow up the anchor part to get out of there, but they did actually apparently get the whole ship out of there without any casualties at all as well.
Nice.
It was like a 30-minute. It was apparently like a 30-minute operation. Like they were in out just like this. Like apparently it was a really
almost real time then.
Yeah.
Based on the movie length.
Yeah,
of it.
it's about a half-hour scene.
It's about
Only
one of the
there
things
was...
that I think is
Okay.
probably worth bringing up about this movie maybe is elements of like, wow, did this crazy thing actually happen in history? Did this guy really go into that boat with his bow and arrow and shoot Germans with a bow and arrow? And I'm like, I guess I treat the historical accuracy of this the same way that I would treat, I mean, like pretty much any other adaptation argument, where it doesn't have to happen because of history, and if something's crazy and contrived, but it actually happened, should it be, acceptable? Does that break the rule?
I think, and that's sort of the reason I didn't want to criticize it as being too much of a contrivance, because I don't know how accurate this is being portrayed.
Oh, it's very high, very hyperbolic. I mean, there was no like.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think there was any.
I would assume the action, yes, but I didn't know about things like
nothing
details
was like
of how
crazy.
intel is obtained.
It'd be one of those like, did he actually do that with his bow? Did he go into the German ship with his bow and shoot Germans with his bow? I was like, I don't know, whatever.
I don't think that happened, no.
He's an expert bowman, so
I don't think there was any saving of Appleyard or whatever, but they did the whole thing. Like apparently, the way they made it in the real life scenario, they made the ship actually available to the public for just watchings and looking out, and sometimes even threw parties in there. And that's how they got onto the ship and got control of it, and then just got out of there. Yeah.
That could be interesting. That'd be a much more espionage kind of spy.
Like, that would have
been a cool, different movie.
Yeah. I think there was like basically no shooting or anything. Like very little. I think there was like 30 casualties. I checked on Wikipedia yesterday. There was like 30 casualties for the Germans, and I think some Spanish, and like 0 casualties for the covert
British
team. Yeah. But it sounded pretty cool from reading it. I would recommend reading like just the Wikipedia page on it. It's like just a fun thing, and the way it just went pretty smoothly. Actually, like they seem to have they did like a really good job. It's pretty. Like
that's how it goes. Sometimes you do a really good job.
Yeah, and then
that's why they have all this planning.
Yeah. Planning and intelligence matter a lot for this kind of stuff.
It's kind of fun because you have like I don't know, like a not an after credit scene, like an after movie scene, just like little blurbs where all these soldiers went, and like those
a
real life
true story what happened to them after the war kind of deal.
And they like a lot of them like are based on real people, and they like some of them did more missions after, and then got like different kinds of medallions and awards and whatnot.
I think Lawson got a VC, Victoria Cross.
Yeah, like the highest one in Britain, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, and Canada.
Yeah,
well, technically we were the same military for a while.
But yeah, the real life scenario was kind of cool as well. Just reading up on it, very much more covert, less explosions and stuff. I don't think there was ever the plan to explode the ship. It was always to just get it out of there.
I thought it was interesting that they saved Marjorie's for last too, because turns out Marjorie married old Gus.
Yeah. And they don't even interact really in this movie. It was kind of funny.
Well, he's very gentlemanly to her.
Oh yeah,
like in the interactions they have, which is kind of interesting considering the title of the film and everything. But I think that was probably a good way to do the romance, is reveal that, oh yeah, and by the way, these two ended up getting married, and this was about the mission. It wasn't about their relationship. They probably didn't get to know each other very well right here, but yeah, just
cool
so you know, they had a
end.
happy ending. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, now we have established that the thing is unsinkable, and the way they planned their thing, I don't think I'm on board with this actually. Even though that's how they did it in real time, in real life, just getting it out of there. Because now
what are you referring to?
Oh, their plan of towing it out, even though they just exploded everything before. Because the thing is, they're exploding like ammunitions and everything. Like that's. Oh, sorry. They wanted to explode the boat from the outside, right? So now they established that there's like steel plates out there, and they're like, that's now unsinkable, and we can't get rid of the boat this way. And they're like, oh, we don't have enough explosions with us to actually get through the steel plates. And I was just thinking, well, you're gonna take over the boat now, right? So just go inside and blow up the thing from the inside. That should work pretty well as well. Put the timers in there, get out of there. Should probably be easier, actually. And they they do show them going inside of these one of these ammunition and diesel thingies. So I was like, I mean, you have all these explosions, might as well put them in there and just get out there safely. I think that would have been the smarter thing to do in this scenario.
Probably. I don't know if there's something about it being spread out on the ship, or if the explosives would be too compartmentalized in the but I feel like they should have said, why don't we just, instead of putting it on the outside, infiltrate the ship and put it on the inside.
Yeah. Because they do infiltrate it anyway, like they kill everyone on board. So they could have probably just put some charges on like the rudder and the steering wheel or everything. Like I feel like there was a way. Maybe they could have be more specific a little bit, because I was the whole time was like, why just blow it up in the on the inside? Because it seemed to have a lot of explosions. Because they do blow up like a whole warehouse later on with ammunitions in them as well. So I don't know. Was a bit. I was just wondering about that.
Maybe there's some element of like character stuff where they're really bold with their ideas and plans. So when Applebottom, whatever his name is, when he comes up with the idea of taking the tugboats and then getting the ship and getting it out there and actually giving it to the British, I wonder if that's supposed to be like, that's how mad they really are, that to really go big on it.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense character-wise, for sure.
Yeah, I can 100%. Believe that they would do it. Oops. But I think you're right. They're probably, it would have been nice to have them address, like, why don't we blow it up from the beginning? And one of them might say, yes, it'd be a shame to have all that go to waste. But even though that was the plan anyway, to blow it all up. But, or maybe they'd say, well, if they made it unsinkable, that might make it easier for us to get it out because it's been up-armored so much. But yeah, I think an explanation I would have preferred.
Yeah.
Also, I'll be right back.
No problem.
Cool.
Yeah, they apparently have like double plated it or something. Now with the steel plateroonies. Let me.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking that blowing it up from the inside should probably still be an option, but yeah,
Yeah, I feel like we have to go with the character stuff at this point. At least I think so. So yeah, now they have like a little back and forth on their boat, because they're basically pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
And even Heron is like, well, we have to stop it. It's like, well, we can't really. The thing is going to explode like any second now, so I don't know what we're going to do, but we have to at least tell them. So Heron just goes and tells the boys. And even the command is hearing what's going on. It's like, oh shit, this is like bad. It's like, can you do it? And then on the British side, we have a little drama going on because Admiral Pound actually noticed them doing the things.
I love how they blow him off. It's so good.
Oh yeah, because it's like, okay, you get out of here. And I was like, oh, Mr. I forgot his. He always calls him by his last name, like something Smith. I forget, but I tell you to stop. He's like, well, I can't quite make it out. It's interference. Please, fuck off.
Yeah, that's what I love. That like it seems like he's just gonna try to do the like, oh, we can't hear you, like we can't acknowledge transmission, like you're not loud and clear. But then he has it with, and then like makes himself totally clear.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. This is fun.
It's like, oh yeah, by the way, one of the reasons I got him to do this is because he doesn't follow orders.
Yeah. And the only reason Admiral Pound hears that is because the guy on the radio actually is a bit of a snitch.
Yeah.
He's a snitch. He's like, is that true, Sergeant? I think he was. And it's like, just turns it back on and hears all the radio going on.
The sergeant is not going to be a part of the SAS.
No, actually, the one guy tells him, "Well, you better fuck off too." He's getting a bit angry as well. So well, yeah, they basically say like, "Well, we're just gonna do it," and then Appleyard comes up with the whole plan. It's like, "Well, we gotta steal those tugboats. Gonna tow this thing out there. We blow up the anchors because, well, we have the explosions. Might as well use them for something." Then they blow up one of the arsenals or whatever it is, just to make a big explosion to get everyone.
The fuel depot.
The fuel depot, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's the plan. You think it's gonna work? It's like, yeah, sure. You're gonna do it. Everyone on board? And it's like, yeah, of course. I'm on board. I'm on board.
I didn't even realize this was a setup.
Huh?
It's a setup for a joke that pays off later on.
Oh, like, yeah.
You didn't actually think that was gonna work, did you? It's like, it was your plan.
It's your plan. Yeah, I have that here actually, so that's fun. So yeah, then we go back to the party, and she's like, "Well, let me do my thing." She has another dress on, and just doing a little sing-song. She's having a little concert. It's like, "Well, Mr. Lure, I got this thing as a present just for you." And just doing singing, and everybody has a good time. And at first he looks at her hornily. It was kind of weird to say. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Hornily.
Of the horn.
Of the horn. He has the horn of the E's. And she just goes to like sing some English songs and stuff. But when we go and cut back to her, she's singing something in German. And she says a thing. She says Weist instead of Weiß. And Laura's like, that's Yiddish. She's a Jew.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh wait, hold on. Oh shit, I'm on the wrong soundboard.
That's not.
Oh wait, hold on. I was going for this one. There we go.
No, we got there eventually.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Because I'm a little.
I mean, those are pretty close. Like, that is the kind of mistake that you can make. I think him catching it is probably the weirder part.
Yeah, because the thing is, she's been talking like both languages for a while, and she's already singing in like an accent. Like, she's not like singing perfect German anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've heard like English people say Weist instead of Weiß when they were doing like something in German before. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe he's just so crazy.
So yeah, you're on the same page as me, where I think that him being able to detect it is the weird part, not her making the mistake.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with her making the mistake.
Yeah, because that seems like a pretty reasonable one to me.
I wouldn't even have caught that if I wouldn't have had the subtitles on there. Because it's also written with a Y, which you don't do for like Vice.
Do in German?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in this part. It's like WEISS. Oh no, SS.
Ah. But yeah, I don't speak Yiddish, so I wouldn't really be able to tell you what the other end of that would be.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll take their word for it, but I don't think in a million years, I don't think I ever would have caught that, especially in the form of song.
Yeah, yeah, especially when she's already been singing different languages. I was like, oh, it seems a bit of a stretch, but I guess he's so crazy that he just thinks he would have thought that anyway. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that, like, if anything, she did kind of plant the idea of her actually being Jewish in his head, and like, which is kind of why I said that. Like, I think that was a risky move. Like, there's other way you could subvert the guy's expectations, or like,
I'm actually black. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would have been way weirder. You're like, what? But how?
Rags, what do you think? I don't know when you came back, so I don't know how much you heard of that conversation.
I came back just a moment ago.
Oh, okay. That lure catches that she is a Jew with the one word that could have.
Juden.
Oh.
He knows he uses Yiddish words instead of German ones for whatever reason.
She uses one.
I just don't know enough. I don't know enough about it.
The way Metal explains it, it sounds like it would be really tough to catch.
It's it seems like a mistake you would make if you don't speak German normally in your native tongue.
I think that's what he catches. Yeah. I think that's what is being caught.
No, because he says, "Oh, this is Yiddish specifically." Yeah. So
maybe it's I just don't know.
Vice and Vice, that's very close together. This could just easily be, I don't know, like a mistake while singing your not native tongue. This is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very obsessive and stuff, like crazy.
He's very good. Yeah, he gets a lot of credit because he's very good at this, and he's very skilled. But
yeah, I'm fine with it in this movie-ish. It's just, I don't know. Well, there's like a whole party going on, and then he hears that as well. It's like, I'm like so.
Oh,
so
she is singing with a microphone, and everyone's transfixed on her. So I'm fine with it. I think given who he is and the nature of what he does and how he's supposed to be like this very intimidating figure, that he's not, you don't fuck around with him.
It did remind me of Inglourious Bastards, though, where they did the whole thing with the
3 fingers.
With the 3 fingers. I like that scene. It's pretty good.
Poor Michael I like Fassbender. It too. Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, the whole thing, like the lights blow up now, and I mean, they just kind of plow their way through some enemies here. They just kind of pick everybody up along the way that is like still outside and is not at the party, because like I think they say like 90% are just at the party and the rest just kind of patrolling outside, and there's not a lot of them. There's maybe like 10, 15-ish around. So they're just getting a hand on those tugboats, and I think Larson and I think Appleyard, they go to the big boat.
Yeah, the Duchess itself.
Yeah,
and they just kind of fuck shit up, especially good old Danish Hammer. He's going fucking crazy. He probably kills like 50 people in there.
Of his
shooting
life.
People with arrows. He's stabbing people with arrows. He gets an axe off a fire axe.
Yeah, it's so insane, because at some point, Appleyard and I think one other guy. Oh, it's like one of the Prince guys, because they have like 16 men with them. They're just kind of there as a little bit of firing fodder, little meat shields.
A little bit, yeah.
They
One of them makes it, and they tell him to do some other stuff. He gets shot, and then he gets helped back up, and so
they kind of imprison like a couple of German soldiers, like Navy guys, and at some point, like as you already said, Rags, he grabs like an axe, and you just you kind of just hear him smashing people inside that room. He basically just kills them all with the axe, like 30 people or something. And you just cuts looking through this little window in in the door, and he comes up to there, knocks it, and he gives like a little wave to his friends, like "Hello," covered in blood. It's just fun.
I mean, my theater was really into it when when he got the axe off the wall. Everyone was like, "Oh, shit's going down now."
Mm-hmm.
So it was very much. It's easy to get. It's easy to just go along with the movie and its vibe,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, he's gonna fuck some baddies up now with that axe because he's a big strongman, and it's like, yeah, we know why he.
Yep. We don't even see him killing all the guys in there. They're just
No,
kinda...
it's a clean movie. All
Yeah.
things, it's actually quite a clean movie.
Yeah, absolutely. We just see all the people lying on the floor. I think we see him like stab the last one or something. That's it. I think he says earlier on the boat, he says, "I'm not going to leave here until I have a jar full of Nazi
75.
hearts."
Yeah. I thought he put a number on it. It was something like I want 75 Nazi hearts or something like that.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, fun stuff.
It's crazy. He's such an interesting character.
I mean, there's nothing really clever going on here in terms of killing. They're just going around killing everybody, taking them off guard. I mean, they
room by room clearing a ship. Yeah.
As Mark said, they're like full level in a low level area with auto aim on. They're just kind of going around killing everything. They're very effective. I mean, you never get a feel in this movie when you're with the boys like, oh, this one is gonna die. It's like, no, they're just killing shit. They're very good. But yeah, they clean everything out. And Gus at some point lets one young soldier leave.
Yeah.
Like,
which I think is a little interesting touch that they added to this movie that seemed out of place, but not in like a bad way.
Yeah, I was more thinking of the logistics, like, oh, depending on what happens, he might blow up your plan.
But I mean, he almost did.
We make some jump overboard and they're leaving, so
I guess it was enough time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. He makes them jump. He's not armed. He makes them jump overboard, and they're about to leave. But yeah, there is an element. Huh?
Isn't the kid the one that opens the party room, like the sailors' party?
If so, I didn't notice that. Might be.
I don't know. I wouldn't count it as a character flaw at all. He gets the drop on some very young Nazi soldier, and he basically he almost does like a, like I can't kill a kid.
Yeah, you're too young to kill. And I think that they cast a kid who looked young enough that I believe he'd have that reaction. He's like, am I actually going to shoot this kid? He's unarmed,
kid like, right here.
Get off the fucking boat.
Makes him jump off the boat. Jump into the harbor. Which was like, it was an interesting, tiny little touch. But I think it's like a good little character thing. Like, I'm not a monster.
Yeah. Somewhere in between here, Marjorie gets invited to Lore's quarters after he figures out she's a Jew.
This scene was pretty tense. Like I actually didn't think she was making it, to be honest. I was like, oh, is that the thing they're gonna hit us with, that she gets like tortured to death here?
Yeah, but before that happens, the big explosion goes on. He's like, shackle her. I need to go check that out. And then he goes out in a Caesar costume, and the other two boat commanders are like, no, me, and then shoots them both.
I was reminded of the whole bad guy who shoots his own men thing, but here I feel like it's like they're just yelling at him, screaming at him, bitching at him, and he's just like had this terrible thing occur.
Yeah,
and they're doing nothing but whining and everything. So he could easily kill them and just be like, "Yep, they were killed in the attack." So yeah, I can. Yep, I think
they're also not his faction too.
Like they're also not his guys. Right. Like one of them's the local, and the other one is an Italian, and we don't care about them. So
and no one does.
You should stick to making pizza.
And we
I will. Fine.
And this is where we actually have the scene that we mentioned shortly earlier, where, oh well, this worked rather well, didn't it? And then he's like, you didn't actually think the plan will work. And he just says it was your plan. It was kind of fun.
I thought that was good because, like I said, that it made the line that he had about the plan like being something that will work a setup for a joke that we had no idea was going to happen.
Yeah. well, they start getting the boat out of there. Now all the soldiers are flooding out. They actually mount a like an anti-tank gun of some sorts, or like a pack or something.
Yeah, an 88. Basically a big artillery.
Yeah, some artillery gun.
Yeah.
But they prep that. They at least one of those gets an explosive, and
Explosives, yeah.
they blow it up as soon as they get on it. They kind of just sit there. They have like one machine gun that's pointed toward the harbor, where they just kind of start shooting people off some mortars, I think, because I think they get shot by mortar. No, wait, they have mortars on the boat.
They have mortars on the
and
boat.
they shoot another encampment or explosive thingy on the harbor.
88 gun?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, they take out one with a mortar, and the first one, it looked like it was taken out by a remote detonation.
Yeah, there was the bombs, and then there was the mortar got the second.
Yeah, it's just a big shootout back and forth. I think the Irishman gets shot in the shoulder, but he's fine.
Yeah, he gets hit. He's
okay.
he's on one of the deck guns shooting, and he gets hit, but he's out of commission, but he's alive.
But they basically make it out. They like mount the S boats. It was like some speedboats or whatever. But they blow more shit up. They have more detonations going on, and
yeah, the mines from earlier that Frogman put on there.
Yeah,
yeah, those go off because they planned ahead. They was once if we're gonna try and get away, we have to account for all the ships that might come and get us.
Absolutely. And they do.
They comment on the spectacle of it too. They're like, "This is pretty cool."
That was pretty good. Yeah, they really enjoy when they do their things. But yeah.
It's like all of this is they have just all sorts of
this is the time of their life.
Cheeky humor everywhere.
They love it. But yeah, they make it out, and their plan is to rendezvous with some other British boat and to give them the thing, the big old boat with all the stuff on it, which they do. But before that, they have to wait for Heron and Marjorie, because they're part of the team of the whole operation, so they want to get them out. Heron is obviously here because he's here with all the Prince guy peoples. But yeah, no, wait, it's bullshit. He arrives with Marjorie a little later. He is actually looking for Marjorie, and he sees that she is getting taken away with a car by Lure. And they stop, and they have like one last interaction. She's like kind of pulling up her dress, and it's like, well, I already put all my cards. And you think she's trying to like seduce him even more, but she actually has like a gun hidden near or
Derringer.
in her no parts. I don't know what exactly
that's
we're going
not
for.
clear. The Derringer up there, yeah. You can squeeze a baby through there. You can fit a Derringer in there.
That's true.
Oh yeah, Derringers are small.
Yeah.
I would really worry about it going off.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing that's gone off in there.
No. Hey.
We have fun.
Yeah. And she shoots him straight in the head from point blank. It's like kind of like you see the way they shoot it is kind of fun. Like you see her shoot, then you cut back to him, and there's just a red dot up there, like frozen in time, little blood, and then he falls over. Like you have like the realization very like a little late.
Yeah, because it's a very small caliber round, but it's you're so close that it goes through the skull and then might not even go through the other end. So just basically the projectile bounces around inside your skull.
I think it's bullshit, but it's a little bit of flair. It's a little bit of like haha, like he knows.
Yeah.
So I think it's total horseshit.
Oh, it is
like,
horseshit. I just found it fun to see. Feel like the realization.
It was fun to see. Yeah. He's like, oh shit. The Jew shot me.
No, not the Jew.
I was gonna fuck her up, but she fucked me up.
Oh, damn it. And yeah, Heron is here. He, I think he shoots the other two soldiers that drive the car. They take the car, and
before you proceed, actually, I like this little thing. Like from her perspective, she didn't expect to get out of there alive.
Yeah,
she's like, well, I'm taking you. I'm shooting you. You know,
taking
before
you with me,
while I have a chance, I'm killing you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think she was ready to just die for the greater good.
Yeah, she was like, yep, I think I'm caught, but I'm taking you with me, bitch.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, she gets saved by Heron, and they make it to the Duchess in time. They rendezvous with the boys, and the boys go to the rendezvous point with the other ship. And they give them the boat, and like, yay, but they still get taken in for tribunal.
Yep, because what they did was against the law. They did break
against the
some
law.
rules.
Yeah. But, of course, in the end, we get to like 4 weeks later, so I guess they were just in prison for that time. Churchill himself comes up to them. It's like, well, you did all such a great job, and they kind of have like a feast coming in with all the stuff. I was like, well, you work for me now. That was...
You work for me now.
You work for me now.
Yes, you are my people who do the things and tasks.
I like this scene a lot.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to happen, but it was still, this is good. Churchill just comes in and like, yeah, you guys are good. I want you to fight more wars for me.
Yeah. And, and then that's what they do. And, I think that's kind of how it worked in real life as well. Like they started doing more covert operations for him in different kinds of things. Like a bunch of the people just did more and more operations for him, for Churchill. That came out after a while. So just another nice little nod to real life.
A nudge and a nod.
A nudge and a nod.
A nudge.
A norge. Nodgen. But yeah, that's the movie. That's That's the
that's the film. Yeah,
ungentlemanly thingies. I had a stroke just now, but I got better. But yeah,
that's good.
As you said throughout, it's just a fun little movie.
Yeah,
it's
a fun little action espionage, shoot the Nazi kind of movie. Yeah.
It's not going to blow you away, but it definitely will entertain you. Like it's not groundbreaking in any way, but it's just a nice little World War II action movie.
Pop it on when you're hanging out with the boys. Have some drinks.
I would, I'd recommend it. What a fun little movie to watch. Yeah. This was entertaining.
Actually grew on me a bit more now that we talked about it. I think.
Yeah, I know. I kind of had the same reaction. I was like, this movie was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was pretty fun. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it again. Definitely not on my own, but
probably not. No.
I know
but I'm glad that I did see it.
Yeah, it
seems like something I'd throw on. I could easily see if I'm visiting my parents throwing this on and watching it with my dad. Like, this is the kind of movie he'd like.
Yeah, for sure. I'd probably recommend this to my dad.
It was a very, very welcome break from watching the Fallout show. Now I'm gonna have to go back to that and finish that.
Well, I'm sorry. I got spared from that misery. As I said, I watched the first episode. I was like, this is kind of stupid and lame. I don't care. And then I
enjoyed the first viewing, but I've since been spending a lot of time focusing on its issues. I'll leave it at that for now.
Absolutely. Anyway, I don't really have anything to add. Go check it out if you don't have anything else to watch. It's a pretty easy watch. Just go give it a shot. You won't regret it, and then you probably never watch it again. It's one of those movies. Those exist, and that's good because I prefer stuff like this over 90% of other things we get.
Oh yeah. I wish every movie was just like fun and enjoyable with some neat little touches and just kind of fun movies.
Yeah.
If we got more of these, the world would be better.
Reminds you that simple is enough sometimes. You don't need to go insano mode.
Yeah. Three character perspectives, and one of them being one that's seldomly cut to, like the chain of command stuff. You don't get a whole lot of, but you get enough to understand that they've got their own little personalities and interesting quirks as well, even up to and including Churchill, actually. But you got a lot of good, fun espionage with Heron and Marjorie, and then the action with the lads. Tons of blood and good stuff.
Yeah. Well, with that said, what's been going on for you guys before we get out of here? Rex, you got anything going on in the near future?
I gotta watch this Fallout show. Not that anything's planned for it, of course, but Mulder's dragging me through it. So I got some other things in the works, sort of. But I don't want to say anything quite yet. But I do have some things that are kind of planned.
Yeah, but of course you can
Can't say anything yet.
you'll catch the rags on the EFAPs every week, of course.
Yeah,
so
do it.
go
Catch
check
rags
that
on the
out.
EFAPs.
I might be there, which happens often. So
Does happen often.
yeah,
I
bop on once in a blue
enjoyed
moon.
the last EFAP which you were on.
I was. Yeah,
The Rebel Moon Part 2,
which was
Wings
quite
of Liberty or whatever the fuck it's called.
spontaneous.
Wings
it was
of
because-
Liberty.
It was actually quite spontaneous because I was just watching that Rebel Moon on my own because I watched the first one as well. I was
As we all do.
well, maybe I'll just check it out. And then I was just spamming Mauler with like stuff because I knew he watched it already. And he was like, "You couldn't come with the EFAP, by the way." I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll need that. I need to get this out of my system because that movie was shit." I want to see if we get 4 more of those. God, hopefully not. But yeah, go check all that stuff out. Obviously, I'm gonna put all the linkage in the description as I do. Mark, you got anything going on?
Yeah, I've been working on a project for a friend of
Whoa.
ours, and that's to my channel people. If you've not seen me streaming much lately, it's just because we're trying to get a video done quick, and I think it's going to be pretty good when it comes out. But it might already be out though. I don't even know because this is airing in the future. But yeah, I hopefully though when that's finished, I'll be streaming Stellar Blade though.
Nice. Well,
So yeah, waifu game,
absolutely.
good combat.
Go check that out as well, of course. Well, as for me, I've been in my own workings going on, and I might reveal what I'm working on in the near future, actually, because I'm getting close to starting my editing. So
Yay!
shouldn't be taking super long anymore. I say that in quotations because you never know what happens. Other than that, of course, you find us here on the Forge every Sunday. And yeah, I'll be starting up Stellar Blade a bit late because I'm not at home on the weekend. Like I leave when the game releases, so I gotta wait. But I got 3 days off when I come back, so I'll be playing quite a bit on Strumble. Stellar Blade
Yay!
is gonna be my go-to. We're gonna do a Forge on that as well. I don't know, probably like 2-ish weeks after it. Depends on how we finish it and how long.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how long the game
Exactly.
is. So it's hard to say exactly.
I think the same week might be a bit fast. I like to spend a bit more time on those games when we do a
First
Fortnite.
playthrough, yeah.
Same with Dragon's Dogma. I mean, we took like 3 weeks for that one.
Dragon's Dogma was unique though because of all the vocations.
Yeah, there
like,
was lots
it
to
really
do.
was a bunch of different types of gameplay you sort of had to try out, or at least a decent variety of them.
Yeah, and notice, if you want to be at least a little bit thorough, you gotta play the game at least once.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Yeah, that's that. Well, thank you for hanging out, chat, the premier chat. Hello, how you
And
doing?
thanks for joining us, Regs.
And yeah, Rex, thanks for
you bet.
joining us. Always fun times.
All right.
This time I didn't even make you watch like something completely horrible. Isn't that nice?
That's true. You didn't. That's true. That's right. I actually watched a movie that was all right.
Yeah.
It's
Last
always
time,
nice when that happens.
last time you were on, I made you watch Expend 4 Balls, and we talked about
did.
anything except that movie.
You're so bad.
Nah, that movie sucked. Anyway,
That movie did suck.
This is
See you.
it is also a very boat-based action movie, and this one's a lot better than Expend 4 Balls.
oh, 100%. But yeah, see you all next time. Goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye. We'll see you later, everyone.